fun. Hello and welcome everybody to this wonderful evening, afternoon, middle of your night, depending on your time zone, to the anime show that will not be named. I am your host, AGQ, and with me here is Yuki.
Hi, Yuki des.
All right, for everyone who's familiar with this, it's the same old what to watch at the start of every anime season. For those of you just joining us, we are here to watch all of the new trailers for all brand new shows, as well as give you our description from having watched the first 3 episodes.
Or 5 or 6, as the case may be this season.
The goddamn they can't line anything up anymore. It feels like they were doing it really good for a hot minute, but now it's like, no, this will start here. This will start here. Why even have a season if you start 5 episodes in or 3 episodes before, or a bunch of weird stuff today? But
I think we've even still got a few shows that haven't come out at all and just start in Netflix jail, but I'm not sure.
Shush. But all right, the rules for our list is we will have no season 2s, no spin-offs, and no prequels to our list. These are the start of series, either brand new or fresh adaptations, meaning that a show that is being rebooted from its original stage 1 can make our list as a full reboot, but shows that are a continuation or take place in before the timeline in a other show will not. So no season 0, no re-zeros, or I think Konosuba had a prequel too, but can't think of it at the moment. So that is how we'll go. Now up for our ranking system here.
Uh-oh. Small problem. I can't actually see the tier list.
I didn't minimize it,
Let me
did
see if
I?
I can fix it. I'm not sure. No, it looks like you're still sending it on your side. It's just not showing up correctly on my side.
It is on your stream for some reason. Is it
now?
Yeah, I can see it on your stream. Like I have it, you pulled up on that side.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't, but now it is. So, all right, whatever. I guess I apparently just had to bring that out to the front somewhere.
Yeah, you can't minimize the Discord tabs. You have to have them open on something.
I didn't even have it minimized. It was just behind another window, but apparently that was enough.
Yeah, no,
anyway, it's finicky. Yeah, so this time around, we have different categories than we have sometimes. Near the end of the season, we do rankings on how good the shows were. This is just our recommendation on what you should and shouldn't watch, and how many episodes you should give a show to figure out if it is for you or not. So in the skip category is stuff that is just unredeemable garbage that we can't justifiably recommend to anyone. If it turns out that that's, a fun hate watch for you or something like that, or maybe it's just super, super niche specific to you personally, great, good for you. But stuff in this category is stuff that we cannot justify recommending and putting our name on that recommendation to others. 1 episode means that after watching 1 episode, you should have a good idea of what the show is about and whether or not it's going to be for you. 2 episodes, likewise, after the 2nd episode, you should have a feel for the show. 3 episodes means you got to get through that 3rd episode to really be able to give a judgment on that show. Before that, you may not have learned the plot twist that really brings out what the show is about, or maybe key characters haven't been introduced or something like that. And must watch is something that we recommend to basically everybody, regardless of their genre tastes, because it's just the big show of the season, or that we feel has just incredible intrinsic artistic value or something to that effect.
Yep. So with the exceptions of your must watches and skips, the 3 episode rule is not in there for a show of quality. Those are just there to give you a feel for how many episodes you might need to watch on the show,
to be able to decide for yourself whether or not you think that show is worth watching.
Yep, despite our recommendations. Now for a little bit about us, because once again, if you don't know what we like and what we love to recommend, it can be a little hard to get to know our taste. So as I will say over here, hello, I am Agent Q. My favorite genres are your sci-fi, your mecha, and your shonen. I have a general dislike of modern day slice of life. And I want to say romance, but honestly, there's a lot of romances I've really been liking. Basically, if you put yourself into high school, minus a point.
Minus 3 points from Gryffindor. I'm Yuki, and I tend to cover more of those slice of life romance genres most of the time, whereas Agent is usually the one covering sports. I don't think that was mentioned. And we both have a great love of trashy fantasy and isekai anime.
Although I
so
tend
we
to
certainly have a degree of bias there that we attempt to account for.
Yep. Although I tend to be the go-to for the shoujo villainous, and Yuki is the go-to for what is it? There's something I very particular bounce off of that you seem to like. I cannot remember at the top of my head at the moment, though.
Well, I know there's like the unaware Atelier one this season that you bounced off of hard that I was picking up, but I'm not sure if that's what you're thinking of or not.
Maybe. I milk toast protagonists really get under my skin. But okay. Yeah. Now, everybody, we're going to start off with our first trailer, and we will go from there. Hold on, let me this up, and feel free, Yuki.
Sure. So first up, I think. All right. Well, it might be slightly off, but it'll be fine. Note that I resized the wrong thing.
Mild technical difficulties. Oh, and for anyone watching,
happens every time.
Yeah, the screen. It's not a stream without scuff. For anyone watching, why we haven't covered them in any certain way, shape, or in any certain order, there is none. The only thing we will say is the more risque or adult-oriented or content warning shows will be put at the end of the stream. A little bonus for anyone tuning in at the end.
Yeah, I also tried to put anything that just gears towards more adult, like mature kind of tastes towards the end this time, but that's not a hard and fast rule. It just felt like it was appropriate for the sort of Adult Swim section of content. All right, that should be better. All right, so we're starting off with the beginning after the end.
Well, that trailer was not good for the show.
Yeah, it very was not representative, and I think that certainly contributed to the fan disappointment that I saw surrounding the show. A lot of people were expecting this to be the next Mushoku Tensei. It is very much in that same vein of show, but it instead turned into we have Mushoku Tensei at home, and it has like all static combat scenes and stuff. There's people who were expecting a lot of really high quality combat from this, and what they got was just static still frames.
Which you once again, not everything can be Mushoku Tensei. This honestly isn't even. Okay, this is another isekai, but this is less power fantasy isekai and more of. Oh, I can't even remember what this is the subgenre of. Instead of the weaker, protagonist getting put into a fantasy world and getting all these amazing abilities and powers. This is hey, what if we take a fantasy badass from this world and supplant him in this world? I believe we had this before.
But he's still going to end up being a fantasy badass.
I mean, you transplant a badass into another world, just a badass. Unfortunately, the only two I can really think that come to mind at this moment are a reincarnated assassin and re-monster, which not high points.
No, and re-monster probably not the most representative of that genre, but it is there. It does technically qualify.
Yeah, but overall, like I said, lower quality on that. I have read the manga or manhwa, or this is a Korean one, right? This manhwa.
Manhwa's the Korean one, yeah.
Yeah, or whatever country this comes from. Not. I have been a fan of it for quite a bit. I don't know why people were expecting high-end animation right off the bat on this one. It very much has a slow, spurred start.
Oh yeah.
But Yuki, you have any more thoughts on that?
I think this is probably a one-episode show. Like, it's not overtly terrible enough that I'd put it in the skip category, but do go in with that caveat that this is not something that you're going to get a lot of Sakuga out of. So if you're a fan of like isekai trash, if you're a fellow isekai trash cobbling, give this an episode. You'll know if you like it or not.
Yeah, that to be said, it is from a highly acclaimed series that I will go back for as one that is highly liked by myself. Give it, like I said, give it the one episode try. I do have high hopes. I think this is going to be in the same vein that Solo Leveling was, where it had a rough first season and then season 2 takes off. But we will see after that. What?
To preface that, probably not on the same scale as Solo Leveling, though. The Solo Leveling was able to really get the everyman market by way of just pumping Sakuga down their throats. This is probably not going to do that.
We will see when they get there, but hopefully everyone gives this one a chance. But one episode for, I won't argue that. Beginning after the end. All right.
Oops. Next up we have Can a boy-girl friendship survive?
俺はひまりと夢を叶えたい。
私はユウの夢を応援したい。だから
俺たちは親友だよね。テレビアニメ男女の友情は成立する？
いや、しない。
2025年4月放送開始。
Alright, yeah, this show is also probably a one episode show. It's very much going to give you what it's about right off the bat, but you don't really get into like the second character. I think doesn't show up until episode 2 or 3 to really start like the love triangle aspect of the show, which is really kind of what it's all about. So either way, though, I think one episode's probably enough for you to get a feel of whether or not this show is going to be for you. Pretty standard romance for this type in a lot of ways, even though the basic premise is that the protagonist is not dating his longtime childhood friend, but they promise to marry eventually, but they're not dating, but they want to date and they don't. Yeah, it's one of those.
Which is sad, because I honestly kind of would like to see like a high school friendship of a boy. It's okay for everyone out there. Guys and girls could be friends. It's not just a constant date thing. Who would have guessed? Like me and Yuki get along fine.
Huzzah!
Watch now ship fanfiction's going to pop up on the internet.
Oh no! What have we done?
But it's like I would kind of like to see that, but this is a very, I don't want to say box. It's a box standard fucking romance. If my early preamble, this is the kind of show I really hate or dislike or have a hard time
Bounce off
watching.
of?
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was relatively enjoyable. The animation on it is pretty nice for this type of show. So if like the romance sort of genre stuff is your thing, give it a shot.
All right.
Next up, we have From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman.
つきましてはこの度先生を騎士団付きの特別指南役として推薦し無
I don't
事
know if I
承
grabbed
認
the
されま
thumbnail
し
for
た
this one.
なんでこんなことに俺は峠を過ぎたおっさんで特別指南役なんてとても
アリューシア・シトラスです我々門弟が先生を盛り立てますので存分にご指導ください先生お久しぶりっすまた先生に教えてもらえるの嬉しいっす
天下の騎士団長様が男連れで街歩きかふぬけたものだな
ペリル先生ひどいしくしく先生に教わった剣術生かしてる誰がお嬢ちゃんかまったくわしはお主よりずっと年上じゃぞ
ガーデナント氏の実力がいかほどかご教示いただきたい優しさは時に間違いを生む私はそれを正すべき立場にある
今までずっとやってきたことが全く通用しないっていうのも寂しすぎるしねテレビアニメ「片田舎のおっさん牽制になる」なんなのこの子たち
And our Prime show, although this one has a dub.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah. I'm a bit of an otaku, so I have gone through some bad dubs in my day. This takes me back to my childhood, not in a good way. Shoot, I think I actually did forget to grab this one.
I have been watching the dubbed version just because it is the default for this show.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's weird because I went
Yeah, I can't tell if maybe.
through this. Yuki, while I'm adding that to the.
Yeah. So I think one thing to mention about this show is it does have surprisingly competent animation and insight into the hand-to-hand combat aspect, or not hand-to-hand, but close quarters combat aspect. They do have some like insights into like the mechanics behind sword fighting and the way that they show the combat gives a lot of detail in terms of like the give and take in the flow, and you really see like the characters actually countering each other and parrying attacks and things like that, where in a lot of shows of this type that would have just been kind of like still frames of them like yelling with a sword pointing at each other. So that's nice to see. And that really goes a long way, I think, in carrying the show beyond it being a pretty generic, clueless guy gets a harem of girls who are all the ones who realize how strong he actually is show. I think you probably don't really get a feel for this one until like episode 2, because you don't really see much of the like combat aspect or really get into the beginning of the hero's journey until then.
All right, I grabbed it. So if this does end up being doubled up somewhere, we will know at the end. But yeah, I do agree. Episode 2 is probably the best one of this one. Once again, I do like the combat. The quick dubbing is nice on this one, but this feels like a box standard harem show. I guess it's appealing to more of the 30-year-olds in this context with our older protagonist, but this, if this wasn't dubbed, I would have a hard time watching this, but it is dubbed, and that means I'm really only watching this when I know the combat's kicking up or there's some great plot going on.
Or some great quote-unquote plot going on.
Exactly.
All right. Moving along then. Next up, we've got the Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows.
貧民街出身だとライセンスを取ることもできないし、正式な開業も難しい。それだと闇営業の治癒士、闇ヒーラーになってしまうか。実は冒険者パーティーを追い出されたばかりでな。
リリも治療院を一緒にやりたい。
メス、痛みを取りながら傷口の再生を万倍に加速する。
腕を再生するヒーラーなんて聞いたことがないよ。
他のヒーラーはできないのか。
一人も死なないからわらわがつまらん。どうやら随分と腕がいいヒーラーのようだな。
気に入ったぞ、闇ヒーラーのゼノス。
怪我もしてないのにあいつら何しに来てるんだろうな。
貴様に惚れているのだろうよ。
バカ言うな、そんなわけないだろう。
今日こそは誰が一番上かはっきりさせてやるよ。
冗談きつい。
今日がお主らの命日だ。
目立たずひっそりと闇ヒーラーをやるつもりだったのに、相手が貧民街の大物だろうが労力に見合った対価はもらうぞ。一瞬で治療していたのに役立たずと追放された天才治癒士、闇ヒーラーとして楽しく生きる。
Why was that last part subbed?
I don't know.
Okay, so the Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows. I can't believe.
Small content warning for this show. The Lolly 100% is part of the harem, considers herself to be the primary love interest, and fully declares that she intends to marry the main character. So if that is off-putting to you, that might be a reason to give this one a pass.
Yeah. Overall, this is the I can't believe it's not isekai box standard harem showing. The healer aspect is an idea they had. They don't want to dig massively into it, and they are using some Wikipedia level knowledge, what they go for, but
yeah, it's don't expect anything like game changing out of this series. If you want to watch it as a pretty typical, not quite isekai trash
fantasy
binge, then go for it. But otherwise, yeah, don't expect too much out of this.
Not much to say on that one. The Brilliant Healer. All right, this one also, one episode on that one. I almost want to think two, but
yeah, I mean, there's definitely I guess they do a good enough job of introducing the characters up front in episode 1, even if they then time travel back. So it's one episode's probably fine.
Yeah, the plot doesn't really get going till 2, but episode 1 tells you exactly what you need on the front door. So
yeah, and let's face it, the plot isn't really the important part of this show.
Nope, it's just the plot.
All right, next up we have Witch Watch.
お前とニコちゃんはこの家で一緒に暮らすことになった。
あのニコと暮らす。
どうしよう、これから一緒に住むとかいろんなことが起きるよ。いろんなことって
見違いかなニコ。俺の任務はニコの護衛。なるべく魔女ということは隠し目立たずいた方がいい。
始まるね。ここからニコの青春が始まる。ふつつか者ですが末永くよろしくお願いします。
布団の上で変な挨拶するな。
いやお前とは初対面やけどニコとは幼馴染や。
あ、
欲しいわこのミヤオネムの使い魔に。
マジ俺変わってっからな。
生徒会長の清宮天竜だ。
私漫画がすごい好きでガチオタなんです。ねえニコ、みんなに魔法見せてよ。何でもできるよ。おはようございます。
無限城来ちゃった。
ビッグーン顔でかっ。ペラペランコ。
こうして始まった魔女と使い魔の同居生活。
ウィッチウォッチ。
今時の女子の魅力を見せてあげるのよ。はい、どんもいちゃん。
寿司三昧。
違うよ。
All right. Did you watch this one at all, Agent?
Yep, this one I have actually been very much enjoying. Well, I do say I dislike the slice of life school stuff. This is a magical slice of life. Dear God, do the gags in this hit hard. One other thing to note: while this is listed as a Crunchyroll show, it is also on Netflix with its dub.
Yeah, I will put out there too. That this, at its core, is really more of a comedy than it is anything else, but it does have romance and like reverse harem aspects to it.
This honestly, like, I was getting more like a magical Ranma feels from this show than I was anything else. They do a wonderful job of giving you a likable and lovable main cast and main characters. It's everything about this. Just, it feels so well put together. I think the biggest thing for me is you don't see the tsundere female that always getting mad about that. It's the female lead's the one who's got the horny getting all the horny bogs.
Oh, for sure. Hi, Kiki.
That being said, it's also fun to see the main character be the straight guy, or the straight
man.
Yeah, straight man. It's like context that sounds a little odd, but I'm liking it so far. Yuki, what do you got for it?
Yeah, I'd say, generally speaking, it's funny, it's cute. It's a sort of feel that we don't get very often these days. Animation is certainly serviceable for what they're trying to do. And yeah, you're going to get a lot of unusual and unique gags here, and hopefully you enjoyed the fact that some of them are kind of puns. But I think this is probably a one-episode show. You pretty much know what you're in for the moment that the main character shows up.
Yep, and am I missing the thumbnail? No, I can't be. I certainly know I got this one.
Is that it, like, dead center next to Compass 2.0? It's hard to see.
2.0.
Yeah, with the pink-haired girl giving the V sign.
No, that's Makabashi Wishes.
Oh, bottom right corner is Witch Watch.
Witch Watch. Okay, I was gonna say, yep. Yeah, one episode. I'm gonna put this one at the top of the one episodes, though. I feel it's probably a good idea to kind of rank them from bottom to top on that list. Are not a bad idea. But yeah, no, that one's one episode and highly recommended.
All right. Next up, we have Sword of the Demon Hunter.
兄ちゃん。
見こもりだ。大切なものを守れるお役目だよ。
れから家族になるんだから。鈴音。ジンタ、私ね、樹姫になるんだ。
鬼はもとより1000年を超える寿命を持つが、巫女の生き肝を食らえば不老が得られると。
ジンタ、アッキラ説を前にしても決して退かぬ。あなたの献身嬉しく思います。
でもちゃんとこの目で確認できたわ。間違いない。あの顔は私が見たまんまよ。
Why is the music getting happy?
どんな鬼でも倒せるようになる。そうしたら見こもりになって会いに行くよ。
だから伝えるのはこの場所がいいと思ったの。ねえ、聞いてくれる？
やっぱり俺は見こもりとしてお前を守るよ。
I'm assuming you must have watched some of this one, right?
Yep. A little note for anyone else who's coming into this. This is a high dive special, meaning its first episode gets an extended cut run. Not the full movie length we've seen before, but this is roughly 50 minutes for an episode 1.
Yeah, definitely a double length Ep1 for sure. That said, even with that, this is probably a 3 episode, because you don't really get to what the show is about until a couple episodes in. Additional note, there are some heavy incesty vibes in the first couple of episodes. So if brother, sister, lolly incest is off-putting to you, although there's not actually any sex scenes or anything like that going on, you're not going to see any nudity. It's still like very ciscon brocon stuff happening. So again, if that makes you uncomfortable, maybe might need to give this one a pass. But otherwise, very well animated, very mature feeling story. But it also has like the kind of vibes that we used to see in more of the like late 80s, early 90s kind of stuff, like the old OVAs.
Yeah, not quite to your ultraviolence levels, but this is a I'm trying to think of what were the mature shows without being ultraviolent, but they're just all the ultraviolet just coming to mind. But no, this has the darker themes. If the current isekai trash and fantasy shows have been a little too lighthearted, this is your standard, or this not say, I would say I would kind of say standard, darker showing for this season. Great watch. I does not have a dub yet, and I don't know if there is one to come out yet. Going to be coming. It
might not be getting one. Like, it's really, I wish I knew who was in charge of which things get dubs and which don't. But whoever it is, they're doing an awful job and should be fired.
I think Sony is one of the major players in that right now, but
probably since they own Crunchyroll.
But yep, 3 episodes. It is a bit to get into, but it is living up to its hype so far. But, all right, what do we got next?
Also of note, since it is a High Dive release, High Dive, while they do simuldubs occasionally, usually they're a few episodes behind, and then sometimes they don't even dub stuff until a subsequent season. So that's it's possible that we could see it get a dub like next season.
Yep. Okay, Yuki, what do we got up next?
Up next, we have Once Upon a Witch's Death.
お前、あと1年で死ぬよ。
え？私、見習い魔女ことメグラズベリーはあと1年で死ぬらしいのです。わかった！テレビのドッキリだ！
バラエティに出るように見えるかい？
見えないです。なんで死んじゃったのメグ！勝手に殺すの！
助かる方法がないわけじゃないよ。1000粒集めんだよ。人が喜んだ時に流す涙、嬉し涙をね。
さてここで問題です。私は残りどれくらいのペースで涙を集めなければならないのでしょうか。1日3粒
の人が見ることの叶わなかった明日を背負ってお前は生きているんだ。だからお前は生きなきゃならない。
絶対死にません。全部を捨てないと魔法は身につかない。
今のお前だから優価値と運命に抗う力があるんだよ。
願いなよメグ、あんたが一番叶えたいこと。まずは生き抜くことかな。生き抜く。はい、いろんな人のこと忘れたくないから。嬉し涙1000粒集めてみせます。
呪いが解けるとき、あなたは大切なものを失う。
All right. Have you been following this one, Agent?
No, unfortunately, this one seemed a little bit heavy, and I kind of wasn't watching anything like that.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say off the bat, especially the first couple of episodes, this show will really emotionally sucker punch you. That's one of a handful of shows like that this season. Nice animation. It will definitely bring a tear to your eye with some of these plots, if that's what you're looking for. But yeah, the first couple episodes can be a little bit hard to get through because of that. So if you're not in a good place to handle something that's that kind of tough and chewy emotionally, maybe table this one until you're in a better headspace.
That's what I had to do.
It has it does have the kind of feel of or the kind of basic plot, I guess, of like some of the older magical girl shows like Card Captors, where like although the show remains in a lot of ways kind of lighthearted, and the protagonist tries to stay like upbeat most of the time, there is some kind of like, really high stakes to what they need to do and accomplish. Yeah, there was something else I was going to say about it too, but I don't remember what it was. This show's definitely generated some memes as well, I think. So if you're the kind of person who likes to be up on like that part of the anime discourse, this is also a good watch. Anything you want to add?
No, unfortunately, like I said, I've had to skip. This is one of the few I haven't even been able to touch or wanted to touch, but it does look interesting. How many episodes would this one be to watch, Yuki?
I think probably about 2. It's hard to say with this one, honestly, because I feel like it'll probably start to have a very different feel and stride to it starting around like episode 4 than it did in episodes 1 through 3. But I can't accurately predict the rest of this show and where it's going.
Yep, no, that'll definitely be a thing. Watch our end of season review to find out on that one. But all right, what do we have up next?
Next up, we have another really emotionally heavy show, Apocalypse Hotel.
伝統と最先端が交差する街、銀座。上質でおくつろぎのひとときをご提供いたします。ホテル銀河楼。私たちのコンセプトは愛すべきお客様に。現在宿泊中のお客様0名。ハートフルな京都。本日新規宿泊予定のお客様0名。最高の笑顔を。昨日のホームページ閲覧数0件。
私はすぐに帰ってくる。その時までホテルを頼んだ。
あなたに出会ったらいずれ人類が帰ってくる時までこのホテルを守る。それがオーナーとの約束です。
望みが叶わない確率より叶う可能性を信じろ。お前の AI が思うままに振る舞えばいい。
いつもどんな時も私のこと忘れたかな。花別れて私たちはずっと彼らの帰りを待っているのです。心というものが生まれた。この気持ちがきっと寂しいよくわかりません。会いたくて死にそう。
safe to assume this one also ended up being a skip for you, Agent?
I started this and got through the preamble in episode 1, saw where it was going to go, and then had to stop. This show right off the bat hits with a goddamn emotional sledgehammer. And
oh, for sure.
Ooh.
Episode 1 is brutal. You're going to go through literally the end of the world in episode 1. Yeah. So definitely you have to give this one at least 2 or 3 episodes to get to what it's really about. This show is kind of a comedy, but it's a comedy that underlies a profound sense of melancholy. That said, it is gorgeous to look at. Like, it's almost Ghibli level animation, like very, very Ghibli inspired in terms of like the use of Ma and the way that it focuses a lot on like nature when it has the opportunity to. But yeah, again, if you are not in a good place emotionally, don't start this series. Save it for when you're in a better headspace.
Yep, or even a binge might be a better thing on this one, it feels like. Well, depending on how it ends, but we'll find out that later. All right, Yuki, where do we put this one?
I think 2 episodes is probably enough to get to the point where like you're at least seeing what the show is actually about and not just like emotional devastation.
Yeah. All right.
Next up is Anne Shirley.
Oh, hey, one I think I watched and you missed.
Oh, sorry, what?
I think one I watched and you missed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I decided to give this a skip since it was just like yet another Anne of Green Gables. But I'll let you take the lead on this one, Agent.
Yeah, so like Yuki just said, if you are familiar with that book series, this is just a retelling of that again. This has made our list because this is a full reboot. This is the second Anne Shirley anime or Green Gables anime we've gotten. The previous one being from the 80s.
I think there might actually be more than that.
It doesn't surprise.
But there definitely was one from like around the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was familiar with. Surprisingly popular series. I will say, as far as the animation goes, this one, they are giving it kind of that classic Ghibli feel, which for this story feels very good. This is a slow pace, kind of that turn of the century world. I'm trying not to just describe Green Gables here, but that's kind of what it is. So if you're kind of no, Caro, we are not starting over. We are
Hi, Caro.
An hour in. No, but if you want to watch Anne Shirley, it's a quick episode list. It's a 1 episode watch. I'll put this in the middle. It does what it needs to do right. It gives you a good feel for the characters. Overall, I am enjoying this story. Just if you need a heartfelt, warm, slow-paced countryside living show, it's pretty good. If you're looking for any kind of action fantasy or any kind of upbeat story, not so much. All right, we can do a quick.
Sure.
Oh, I'll let you handle that, Yuki.
All right, yeah. The quick and dirty is it's not really a ranking system in this case so much as letting you know how many episodes of the show you need to watch in order to get a feel for the show and make a judge for yourself if you want to continue watching or not. The only real judgments we're truly making are skip if it's like irredeemably terrible in some way, or must watch if we think that there's like, some overwhelming artistic merit to it or something like that. Although we are vaguely putting the series in the order of how good we think they are, roughly within each episode category.
Yep, not too much on that. Like I said, mostly our opinions just because of how early we are, but generally you'll see the things we like more at the top and the things we're kind of meh on at the bottom. But with that, I think we are good, and we're going to move on to our next trailer to put our next show in.
Next up is Yaiba, Samurai Legend.
鬼丸、俺と勝負しろ。もっと強くならねえと。もっと力をつけなければ。パーク。宮本武蔵。予備の国から今舞い戻った。こじろ。一からですわ。
Frog.
これは風神。風神剣にゃ雷神剣よ。人は皆心に鬼を秘めておる。これよりこの国は
俺は
この鬼丸が住める。
日本一の侍になるんだ。
刃雷神に囚われてはならんぞ。負けないで。待ちわびたぞ黒金刃。
俺は鬼丸に勝つ。
気は熟した。
いざ絶対俺から離れんなよ。
おお遅い。貴様は刃何もなし得ることなく
刃ならきっと
ここで終わるのだ。
Underwhelmed even with the frog. Alright, I did not watch this. I'm not even sure if this is out yet.
This is a Netflix show. I believe it's up to episode 4 now. All right, so a little bit of backstory on this one, because as I started watching this, I had a, hey, this feels like old school, like early 90s young shonen anime. Lo and behold, it actually is. This is a reboot of the original series, or at least an older series. Okay. That was
yeah, it definitely, like, the art style looks very reminiscent of like Shaman King from like the early 90s era.
I think this predates that. I think this is like original Dragon Ball era.
Wow, that far back?
Yeah, like a lot of the monster designs and a lot of the character designs feel very Toriyama, even. Overall, episode 1 gives you a good feel for this one. This is a fun young shonen, so don't expect a lot of blood. Oh, there was quite a bit of blood in that, like a little bit in there. Don't expect like a lot of that. The main character is stock shonen as stock shonen comes. He doesn't understand that there is a difference between men and women, I don't think, and only wants to fight and get stronger. That being said,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
That being said, the fight scenes in this are done pretty darn well. They don't do cuts, they do camera. You know how action movies like to like swivel out to hide their cuts? Somehow this does that.
The camera pans.
Yeah, it loves its camera pans. That being said, I'm going to put this right here. This also does not have a dub at the moment.
I feel like the end of the world one, or beginning of the end, or whatever it is, should probably be a little bit lower in the list than we have it, if I'm being honest.
Lower than Anne Shirley?
Yeah, it's probably just above the Brilliant Healer.
Okay, I can understand that. I have a little bit of bias because I know where the story's going, but
based on what we've seen so far.
No, I've read ahead the manga and everything, so I am actually up to date with the current on that one. It is part of my regular reading list.
All right. Next up, we've got Zatsu Tabi. That's Journey.
旅いいな。ネームはまだあるんですよ。しかも2つ。長来るんじゃなかった。お前の蓮沼小弓はここにいるぞ。私も旅に連れて行ってください。ちいちゃん、高松楽しかったって。
旅で重要なのは地の食べ物、人との触れ合い。けれど最も大事なのは酒。
Oh yeah. This is very much a cute girls doing cute things show.
A surprisingly competitive category this season.
Yeah, right?
雑がいい。雑旅。2025年4月。放送開始。
Alright, did you catch any of this one, Agent?
Nope. Unfortunately, this has been one of the ones I just kind of had to let on the go by. I figured you would, since it looks modern day slice of lifey, I was hoping you were going to pick this up.
Sure did, yeah. I had a feeling that's how this one would go. That said, this is one of those series that definitely feels kind of like it's a Japan Tourism Board sponsored series. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, you definitely get to learn some stuff about locales in Japan and things of that nature. So if that sort of thing appeals to you, great. But do be warned, it has that kind of like tourism board. We're gonna, yeah. It's definitely aimed at trying to get people to travel in Japan. Not necessarily foreigners, but also locals.
Yeah, remember in Japan, they try to get people to tour out of Tokyo for a while every so often.
Yeah, although, interestingly, the show also makes a big point of how expensive it is to do these trips.
Travel
which you wouldn't
responsibly.
expect for something that's trying to kind of promote that sort of thing.
Yep.
Sorry, what was that?
I said travel responsibly.
Yeah. Decent animation, but there's definitely a lot of backgrounds that are just like digitized photos. For better or for worse, it definitely gives you a accurate feel for the locations, I suppose. That said, it's not very strong in terms of like the character development or anything like that. So if you're not watching it to learn about like travel in Japan, then you're probably not going to get a ton out of this show. It is still in the cute girls doing cute things genre, and you probably only need about one episode for this one.
This also has the this is our second Crunchyroll special. Not logo.
Giant logo.
Yeah, kind of. I try to use those when Crunchyroll makes them. Gives you a little idea of what they're trying to put a little more effort into, I guess. Possibly. I don't know. Crunchyroll does these for some, it doesn't do it for others. Don't know why, can't figure it out.
All right, next up we have one of the other cute girls doing cute things shows, Mono.
元気でね。写真部のこと、あとは頼んだわよ。脇の原先輩。今月いっぱいで入る！360これから私、何を撮ればいいんだろう。これならいろいろ面白いもの撮れると思ったんだ。これから写真も動画もバンバン撮るぞ。さっちゃん、私もカメラ買ったった。部員が私たちだけじゃ廃部になっちゃうんだよ。写真部いいよ、入る入る。写真部ってどんな活動してるの？まあ私はゆるい漫画家だから。二人にぜひ次回作のモデルになってほしいの。やば、ガソリン入れるの忘れてた。 やってよかったね。うん、なんかいろんなもの取りたくなってきた。モノ2000
Cat.
Yes, Cat. So similar to the last show, this one, yes, Cat Booty. Similar to the last show, this one is also kind of a little bit tourism centric, but it's much, much more low key about it. The tourism pieces feel a little bit less sponsored, and it feels more like a little more natural, and it takes a bit more of a backseat to the character interactions, making it more of a character-driven, cute girls slice of life sort of show, with a little bit of low-key Yuri bait as well.
Although,
you go ahead.
I was going to say one show in particular on this list has the Yuri bait unlock and key, but
we do have a few Yuri bait titles this time around. Yeah, so I think probably episode 1 is good enough for this one as well. I would rank it a little bit above Zatsu Tabi, though, personally.
easy enough. Another special logo on this one. Unfortunately, this is another one that I skipped. I saw high school girls doing club activity in a regular life and was
Yeah, not your forte. All right, next up we have the Dinner Table Detective.
見てあれ素敵。
宝生家のご令嬢だよ。
宝生って世界的に有名なあのグローバル企業宝生グループのなんてお美しい。
申し遅れましたが、私本日よりお嬢様にお仕えすることになりました。執事の影山と申します。お嬢様の目は節穴でございますか？
このままだと迷宮入りだわ。
国立署の本省です。
答え分かってんでしょ影山。いいから教えなさい。
お嬢様の凡庸なひらめきなど人に話すほどのものではご
Probably not.
砕け自分の無駄でございました。
僕が来たからには皆さんどうかご安心に。
お嬢様のご期待にたがわぬ結末をお約束いたします。
ダイイング。
ダイイングメッセージ。
あと30分でなんて無理です警部。
引っ込んでいてくださいますか？
もう少し正直になれていたら。
今回の事件は起きなくて済んだのかもしれませんね。
これで謎が解けたわ。
謎を解いた後だと胸がいっぱいで食べられないことも終わりでしょう。ですから謎解きはディナーの後でがよろしいかと。
Okay, one I have been watching. This one also has a dub, so if you want to watch it in the background, it does have one. This is a Amazon Prime show, so thank God they have the dub because Amazon Prime has the worst subs. I've been watching other people getting into the new Gundam, and everyone's like, "Wait, are these just dub subs?" Like, it's apparently really bad. Oh, Mask, thank you. Oh, yay. Hopefully that's working out for you. But the Dinner Table Detective. So this is quite literally just a murder mystery show. The main characters are actual detectives. It does kind of have the Detective Conan, I don't want to say feel, but kind of plot of new episode or an episode, depending on if it's a longer murder mystery, will take up to the kind of
mystery of the week format.
Yeah, I would say the main character is the two main characters are police detectives. They are, a bit. It's like if the dad from Detective Conan was just the main focus of the show, because while they are intelligent, they do miss some stuff and aren't the brightest. The butler, who was coming off as very standoffish into that trailer, is kind of the All right, people, have you solved it? Have you solved the mystery yet? Nope. Well, all right, let me explain how this happened and how we're going to catch him. He is like the come in answer sheet for everyone to solve it at the end. So far, the mysteries have been okay. This isn't anything I'm going to be like recommending or saying, oh, it's great. Oh, it's phenomenal. It's okay. It's fine. It's serviceable. There is a lot of high-end animation. There is a decent amount of character build-up. Honestly, from how this starts, it almost feels like there was a preamble that they cut out, or a zero book or prologue. I'm not quite sure, but it's a one episode. You have a good feel for it. I will put this under Mono.
All right. I don't have anything to add on this one. After being burned by that Akemu show last season, I wasn't really feeling up to another mystery.
Yep. All right. What do we have next on the docket?
Next up is Guilty Gear Strive Dual Rulers.
罪深き生体兵器ギアに滅びよ
ギアとの聖戦により悲劇の時代は終わりました
終わっていないこのままでは第二次聖戦が起きる
I don't believe I've ever seen you before unless you're operating under a different name, yeah?
聖戦の英雄海キスクがギアをめとるとは
聖戦は終わりました
But I do appreciate being included.
殺戮兵器が何も変わりはしない
生まれが全てではないでしょう
強引なアプローチは嫌いじゃないぜ
何が目的ですか
ギアとの共存という過ちを正し人類を救うあらゆるギアを根絶することで
武装狙いか
母さ
ん全国民を敵に回すことになる
うち結構強いから
なんでこんなことすんだよ
そこまでよ
ここは任せろ行け援護する
ユニカと話するの諦めないさ何か理由があると思うんだ
お前はそれでいい
おぞましきギアに味方する者を許さない
ユニカは単独犯ではない
That is often the point of masks.
情報を聞き出すまでが任務だから
救える命も救えねえぞ
貴様らがギアをかばうなら聖戦は必ず起きるだろう
聖戦は俺が止める
All right, so the Guilty Gear anime, the first Guilty Gear anime somehow. For anyone who is a fan of the games, guess what? You're going to have a good time. This is a continuation of the game storyline. If you don't know the game storyline, why are you watching this? Don't watch this show. Go look up the... I think Wooly Versus has the official lore videos on it. Like, I think Treyarch actually... Well, it's not Treyarch. Whoever does Fighter Z, I think actually sponsored a YouTube guy to help do the story on it for how old it is. This show was made with the concept, you want more of the game story, because I think they're not going to... I don't know. It's a very interesting concept. As a fan of the games, I'm enjoying the show. There's a lot of interesting things that were left open at the last that they are kind of getting up. It makes our list because it is the first anime of a series. So it does count under our rules. Yuki, as someone who doesn't know the story, would you like to put some input on this?
Yeah, so I will say for sure that as someone who's less familiar with the games, at best having absorbed casually some lore through osmosis, this doesn't make a ton of sense right off the bat. It's a little bit harder for sure to follow if you're not a fan of the series. I will also note that they made a really weird choice in episode 1 to not animate any of the combat and have everything just be kind of like still frames or even like cutting into this like stained glass effect, which is bizarre.
I did
because
learn why that was. They are using the latest game engine to do some of this, it looks like.
I mean, that I expected, but it is a fighting game series that we're getting this coming off of, and I think the thing that people want to see the most, especially in episode 1 off the bat of a fighting game series, is some pretty epic combat. So they really lost that opportunity to plot hook people. It was my guess that they had animated this in the game engine, which makes it. I mean, it's definitely CG animation. There's no getting around that. But they are known as one of the best CG engines to emulate the anime style, and have really kind of been known as the forerunners in that sort of game genre, and kind of started like the whole trend where things like Street Fighter went to 3D but maintained that kind of anime style with cell shading and stuff like that. So I can definitely forgive them for that. And if anything, it's kind of an interesting choice that they made to go with that. I will say, though, that episode 1 is definitely not representative of this series as a result of the choices that they made, and you would really need to give this at least 2 or 3 episodes to start even getting a feel for what the series is actually like.
Okay, so it's actually a weird thing. The latest games have 2 different engines that they use, one for cutscenes and one for combat. They are actually using the cutscene engine.
Fair enough.
Which is very stylized in the way this for episode 1 is. Part of the reason I was saying it's made for people who are actual fans of the game and who like the art style they used for those cutscenes, which... Yeah, this is a pure. You are fans of the games, you will like this. If you're not fans, go play the games first. That being said, I do agree. Episode 1 is not a good feel, especially since it info dumps a lot of stuff on you. I almost want to say 3 before you get like a good feel for how everything's going.
I could even take the argument that episode 4 is where you really start to get into the actual plot of the show.
Yeah, possibly. And there's just so much to follow on this one. So our 2 main characters are in the show are Sin and Soul. Sin, I forget Japanese last name, and Soul, bad guy, the protagonist of the game series.
Kisuke, I believe.
Yeah, Sin, Kisuke, and Soul, bad guy, the 2 main protagonists. Soul being the former protagonist of the series. Little fun fact, he's actually Sin's grandfather.
That tracks.
Guess which one of his 2 parents was Sin's child?
What, Sin's child?
Or not Sin's.
You mean Soul's child?
Soul's child, sorry.
I know that Soul is a gear, so hypothetically it would have to be Dizzy.
Yeah, although she gets her gear side from her mother, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it's a series I know way too much about, and I could actually talk about for a bit. I would love to. The anime does not a good representation of getting into the guilty gear, though. Dear God. Oh, there's just like, oh, wow. They're not going to explain any of this, are they? Wow.
Now, there's actually a piece where they're like, by the way, this thing just happened, but that's not important right now. That's its own thing for being delved into another time. We'll just ignore that for now and just go back to what they were doing.
If they can bring Zep into this, I will give them extra points. I love that faction. But Yeah, if you are curious about it, 3 episodes are where you kind of want to watch. I can't even say go play the games because there's so many of them. They're so old. One of them's in RTS. It's like it's a major plot point. Like that's like the Valentine sisters that show up in this. Like they're the original Valentine is from an RTS game, and that helps explain all of the. It's like there are no side content, and it's like Okay.
I did not know that there was an RTS entry in the series. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a Vita RTS though.
Oh, that might be why I never heard of it.
Yep. Or a PSP one. But all right, moving on.
Okay. Next up, we have Teogonia. I might be butchering that pronunciation. Aw, thank you so much for the follow. They obviously hadn't nailed down any voice acting yet by the time they did this preview.
Yeah, no joke on that one. Okay. No, I believe you didn't catch this one, correct, Yugi?
I caught 1 episode.
Okay. So this is technically an isekai.
Yeah, I did catch hints of that even in episode 1.
Yep. Overall, it is that it's not a direct knowledge. This is like, oh yeah, I have vague knowledge from another world. Ah, that's weird. Overall, this has a Tolkien or European fantasy world vibe, but with a kind of Japanese land god religion baked into it.
Nice try.
Oh, everything okay?
Yeah, no, sorry. Someone just did a redeem on my side.
All right. I will say I liked it better than I thought I would. The mythology they start with building and as the series goes on has been really great. And I'm very curious to see where it goes. The main character, while gets isekai protagonist kind of not powers, but like Deus Ex Machina is where like his former world knowledge comes from. Does do a fairly good job of it overall. There isn't anything I'm disliking. Everything's been lovable. It's interesting to see that the other races actually have their own languages. The demi-humans so far have been orcs. I don't want to say gnomes, but I think they're pretty much they're gnomes. They're small, they look childlike, and they're really good at crafting stuff. And macaques, which are giant white ape beastmen.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, just like I don't see it often, but it's interesting to see it. Overall, this one, I would say 2 episodes just from how stuff starts changing up. You do get a decent feel for episode 1, but 2 is where the plot kicks in. I will put this here. It's hard to say because I haven't seen this one. You guys seen that one, so that shouldn't be too bad. For the little bit you caught it, did you have anything you want us to add to this?
No, I had kind of similar thoughts where the world building aspect was nice, but somehow the setting still just didn't really quite capture me. This definitely isn't the kind of show where you're going to see Sakuga, but the fight scenes are serviceable. So they're not going to be super visually impressive, but they are not going to be just kind of like still frames either.
Yeah, so hopefully not too bad. Like I said, 2 episodes on this will pretty much get you to where you need to be. But
Thank you for the hydrate redeem.
Yep. That should do you good there. All right. I think we are ready to hit our next one.
Yep. Next up is Food for the Soul, another cute girls doing cute things show.
私の名前は河合真子。
Why did that go hard for a
私から一
second?
人暮らしを始めた大学1年生。いただきます。もしかしてまこっち？え？不思議言葉。食文化研究部へようこそ。ここでみんなと料理したり。 みんなでご飯食べたりするのかな。美味しいご飯がいっぱい食べれる。うちの店美味しいよ。食べてきなよ。河合さん、また大学で。この部の真の目的。それはこれからみんなで探していくんだぞ。みんなで部室に出発。料理ができるまでウクレレを弾いときます。エナジー充電完了です。まこっちゃんって呼んでいい？もう呼んじゃったけど、私のことはナナって呼んでよ。 私に力を貸して、モコ太郎。作っていくモコ。もっとたくさんこのサークルで思い出作りたい。日々は過ぎれど飯うまし。泣いてる。もっと食べていい？
Now I'm mildly hungry.
Yeah, it's that kind of show. I'm again guessing you didn't catch any of this one, right?
Nope. This one is going to be completely on you, Yuki.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is a pretty rote, by the numbers, cute girls doing cute things show. Basic premise is they try to make a fake club and then get forced into doing the activity of the club or it will be disbanded. Now, one interesting thing though is this is, although the characters may not look it, a college setting. All of these are college students.
You know, because you can't have the college kids look like college kids. You can't have the high school kids look like high school kids. It's
Yeah, of course, all the high schoolers have to look like 30-somethings, and all the, you know, or even middle schoolers have to look like, you know, 20-somethings or teenagers. And all the college students have to look like they're in elementary school.
I mean, D cups are totally natural for a 12-year-old, right?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, there's my blue set.
Your bot just banned my bot?
No, that was my bot banned my bot. Your bot's been going fine.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. It's Streamlabs timed out Stream Elements.
Oh my. Oh no, your bot banned my bot.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if you would like my
AI wars have begun.
my bot, I don't know why my bot's letting yours through. It should ban everything that .com in it. Yeah, kind of. Okay. Right, food for the soul.
So, probably one episode is enough to get you started on this one, maybe two, just because you don't really get a great feel for the characters in episode one, but I think one is still probably enough. This show is probably just below Mono, I would say, in terms of its quality.
Yeah, but I'm not fighting for anything below Mono at this point. It's like all that's just kind of bleh to me.
Yeah. If anything, yeah, I don't know. All right. Next up, we have the Gorilla God's go-to girl.
とにかく目立たないカゴなら何でもいい。
あ、
ゴリラ？やっぱりこれってゴリラの神のカゴのせいだよね。
ご令嬢どうかされましたか？俺足には自信があります。エディ・フェレス行きます。
王立騎士団からのスカウトが来ています。過去のカゴ者たちも全員騎士団に所属していたようですよ。
王立騎士団は確かにすごい名誉職だけども、女性騎士なんて聞いたこともないし、そもそも私は昨日ゴリラになったばかりの新生。
エディ？ What？
騎士団に入っちゃったらもう穏便な生活なんてレベルの話じゃない。こんな調子で騎士団と学校の両立なんてやっていけるのかしら。テレビアニメ「ゴリラの神から加護された令嬢」は王立騎士団で可愛がられる。
Oh yeah.
Oh, very much a reverse harem. I will
also low-key comedy. I can't believe it's not isekai.
It's close. There are no stat screens, leveling systems that I've seen so far. Just a fantasy world where you get to have all of where everybody is basically blessed by an animal god of some sort. And our main lady gets a silverback gorilla, which they haven't explained the blessings too well. Bird people can fly, apparently, depending on the bird or something, I'm guessing. And a couple other things where the gorilla person just gets gorilla strength.
Apparently, the gorilla version gets all the aspects of the gorilla. So increased run speed, strength, and whatever else.
I feel like the run speed's just tied into the strength, just because, gorilla. But yeah, overall, I gotta say, it is for a slow-paced comedy. It's hitting on its jokes. The characters are all fairly likable, lovable. The jokes they do aren't the ones that have been done a million times. It's nice to kind of see a character who wants to live the slow, peaceful life and just be told, nah, you got power. You have to use it now. But
yeah, there's also the whole nobility aspect thing going on there, and a lot of that, oh, she's kind of the bullied girl in the noble school deal. We see a lot of that. It's kind of tropey at this point.
Yeah. Overall, you know what this is in episode 1.
This one's hard to place because the animation and stuff isn't very good, if we're being honest, but the show is still a fun ride.
It's a box standard good, not bad. It's not bad. It's just a box standard good animation, or basic animation, I should say. I don't really want to say basic because, there is bad basic animation. This doesn't irritate me in any ways.
It's budget animation.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that there just because it's landing so well. And once again, a fantasy series that isn't tied down in RPG systems is nice to see again.
All right. Next up, we have My Bashi Witches.
ここはあな なただけのお花屋さん。心の奥にあるあなたのお花咲かせる場所。
さあ願ってお店をオープンしたい、魔女になりたいって。
Oh yeah, frog for Kiro.
先に説明してあげたらここのこと。
それもそっか。
前橋で花屋なんて
人の願いを叶えるのが魔女の仕事。
君らは心の奥にある彼女のお花咲かせる必要がある。
魔法すごくない？体が勝手に動いたよ。
歌は君らから魔力を効率よく引き出す呪文みたい
The
なもんだ
magical
からね。
frog, Kiro. You don't have magic.
修行内容は
Maybe
ここで
plague,
店
but
を
not
開き
magic.
悩める人たちの願いを叶えること。
願いって何叶えるの？
君らのお店なんだから君らで考えなよ。
魔女になれたらどこでも魔法が使える。
魔女ってエモエモだね。あんたなんで魔女になりたいの？魔法で叶えたいこととかないの？
Oh, you do have plague?
大きなお城に住んでちょこちょこランドを作ること。
人の役に立ちたいから。
私も早く願いを叶えたいんだよね。まずは本気で魔女になりたいの。大人になる前にできるだけ若いうちに。魔女になってしたい。
Secret magical frog girl Karo.
っていうかあんたとは無理。マイベストエモエモな人生。
I'm surprised that hasn't been done, actually.
黙って。アズの可愛いはアズが決めるから。私長いものに巻かれろタイプなの。
お嬢様でも天才でもない。普通だから。
夢が見れるって素敵だよ。それハピハピチョコちゃんだよ。
Except it's also, well, yeah, I mean, that's relatively accurate in that it's also like an idol anime.
ないんだから。何？この店でまともなのアズだけってこと？
魔女がじゃ失敗かな。
もういいや。わか
I
り
got more to say, but I'll wait for when we start talking about it. This is a long trailer, Yuki. What the heck?
どうしよう。うちら最強すぎない？
お客さんの心に
I don't make the trailers, okay?
頑張れって気持ち込めて歌います。
Yeah, yeah.
.学歴とか女らしさとか男らしさとか。
君みたいな子がたくさんいる世界ならいいのにね。舞がこんなおしゃれで良きな店でバイトしてるとか意外。なりたい自分になるのって難しいんだね。こんなこと誰にも話せなくて。みんなとならマイベストエモエモ写真撮れる気がする。心の花が咲きますように。
Alright, I'll let you take the lead since you seem to be chomping at the bit on this one, Agent.
Okay, so if you first come into this show, if you're an older anime fan, you might be familiar with a show called Magical Do-Re-Mi. It is a young magical girl show about a bunch of young witches in training running a shop that sells magical items trying to help people. This steals a lot from that premise, then ties in a idol anime at the end for the showstopper. It's like, oh, we're going to go through your life, figure out your problems, and then do a big song at the end. That being said, if you're familiar with other shows coming out, you might be saw the Bandai and Sunrise and like, oh, wow, they're pulling double duty. Just a note, those two studios have a separate idol animation group who works inside of them. This is that. This is not the Gundam guys or the Mecha guys or the other side. I did not. If you're afraid of idol shows, this isn't the best. The group is very bog standard, only doubling down on the dumb girl. I don't know, because they had the dumb girl, and then they had the protagonist who's also the pseudo dumb girl, and then they had one who was just a fucking bitch. Just like, I'm here, and I don't know why you're telling me what to do. All right, what are we gonna do? I don't know, but I'm not listening to you. It's like, you're not even tsundere. You're just a bitch. Shut up.
Yeah, my take on this show is it honestly would have been a better show without any of the idol aspects whatsoever, but it's clear that the rest of the show was intended to be a vehicle for those aspects, and thus there was no way that they were ever going to get cut from the show.
Yeah.
But they exist almost completely separately from each other, even though like the animation style pops up from time to time, and it's just both would have been better off without the other.
Very much. There's not even a reason for them to do the big song and dance. It's not like it's part of their magic or anything. It's just, oh, I feel like yeah.
It doesn't tie into the show at all.
I don't know, what was it like episode like she just says, I think I want to sing for you now. So we're all going to, it's like their magic just gets randomly tied into song because the only person who can make up their mind on what they want to do with their magical powers decides it. I don't know why the show made me so angry.
This is probably the first show that I personally would give a skip to. So far that we've looked at this season, it's hard for me to be sure if that's just my own personal bias against like the idol genre and to a lesser extent the magical girl genre, but this show was not good. It was slow, it was boring, it didn't have impressive animation. It had awful CGI that was brought in from the idol portion that seeped its way into other parts of the show for no apparent reason. I have a really hard time recommending this one.
That's.
I mean, I guess maybe for Caro specifically because Frog, but besides that.
That's kind of, I don't quite want to throw this into skip. We're not in a glut of idol anime at the moment. It's not doing anything horrible overall. It's just kind of bland. And I don't want to throw something down in there for just kind of being a junk food show because there's nothing offensive. It's just bland overall. It feels like. To be fair, Carol, they have been typecasting direct people. It feels like there was a show last season that was, hey, what's Agent like? The show.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to throw this towards the bottom of one episode. I don't feel like this deserves a skip, but I can very much, if this is in your genre of wheelhouse, I could see you liking it. If you like if you like idol anime, try it.
We do tend to give shows a few extra points if they're the only thing representing their genre in a given season.
Yep. If you are idol anime of 6 or villainess show number 5, you're gonna be graded on a curb.
All right, next up is Compass 2.0 Animation Project, and if that name doesn't tell you that this might be bad, well...
ここは戦闘設理解析システムコンパス 2.0 の世界幾多の世界からヒーローと呼ばれる者たちが集まり人間のパートナーと共に快適な時を過ごしています本日のコンパスニュースみんな
Animation on her is a little rough around the edges, but agreed, the way she moves especially is kind of adorable.
It's not an idol anime, Hero, calm down.
Though it does technically contain idols.
Yeah.
私は死にに行くお力になれましたらと思ったまでです。
次は勝ちましょう。無理の無理難題です。
Holy shotgun characters.
から逃げることは許さん。コンパスへの貢献はヒーローの責務だ。
契約に縛られるのはごめんだ。
攻撃開始。ガブドールが侵入。彼らの目的はメインシステム。ヒーローとパートナーに救援要請を。あなたのその力はパートナーを組むことで解放されます。
By the way, that generic blue-looking little guy, that's the main character of the show.
Yep.
ヒーロー見参。
Technically.
相棒、ついてこいよ。
やっと会えた。
Yeah, I think the robots of Miku stand in.
一度の約束だ。パートナーは解除。
No, it's not actually Hatsumi Miku. Sorry.
ジャスティス大王最高のパートナーであります。サポートありがとうございます。当たり前でしょ、パートナーなんだから。パートナーにならねえ。
見させてもらおうか。
さて任せろチン。これでしまいだ。
So for anyone who's watching that couldn't pick up on it, this is based off a gacha game.
Yeah.
It's not awful overall. The animation, oh, actually, that's Yuki's department. I'm not going to comment on there. This throws way too many goddamn. It's as they probably all the gacha games have. It throws way too many characters at you way too fast. It just kind of expects you to accept what the world is without explaining anything.
It also just feels very boring and low stakes. Like, clearly there's some stakes happening within the world, but the world is shown to us to be the world inside a video game that does not contain any real people, and we're not really given any sense of weight to anything. Like, there's no, like, the entire internet will be destroyed if these creatures win or something like that. It's just like, oh no, the game might shut down, I guess. Maybe? Question mark?
No, it's so the avatar characters, the little people you saw I partnered like with the big hero gachas, are in-player avatars in a game world that's real.
Well, sort of, but we know from even episode 1 that it's a cell phone game that the real people are playing on their cell phones, and they have that avatar, but like, I don't know, there's just not any real sense of weight, like
No,
I said.
it just expects you to accept the world as what is. In I think it's episode 2 or 3, you go to one of the heroes' worlds.
Oh, they have their own worlds, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, they did kind of hint at that, but
yeah, they're all from their. Like I said, it's a phone gacha game that's real that pulls in heroes from other worlds that people in the normal world play. I'm trying to explain this, and it's so.
It has a sort of Fate Stay Night aspect to it, or Fate series aspect to it, I guess.
I don't okay, Yuki, what do you have to say about the animation on this one?
Animation is okay. Like, they try to give you a sense in that trailer that it has Sakuga, but it really kind of doesn't. It's B-tier-ish animation. It's not amazing, but it's not awful. Certainly nothing to write home about.
Oh, this also got the Crunchyroll special logo.
Oh my. How fancy.
Just keep a note, the beginning after the end did not. A few of these did not. It's once again, nothing's awful. This is a okay show. I mean,
the most egregious thing about it is very obviously a gacha anime, and very obviously, like, leans very heavily into that and expects you to want to like the show because you're a fan of the gacha game that no one in the US has probably ever played or heard of.
I don't know if it's available. Like, this might be I don't want to say like Korea or Japan exclusive, but if you told me that, I would believe you.
Indeed.
All right, I'm going to throw that at the bottom of the one episode. You don't need to know any more after episode 1.
That was my take too, but I didn't actually watch past episode 1, so I couldn't be sure.
Yep. All right.
Next up is Classic Star Stars.
Oh, hey, our BL show for the season.
この学園でもう一度やり直すチャンスが。
音楽も文化だ。俺の全てだ。
初対面の人間に対してぶしつけかつ失礼なのでは。僕も自分の願いを叶えるため示さなきゃいけないんだ。
All right. This show was like actual torture for me. I don't think I even made it all the way through episode 1, so I'll definitely let you take the lead on it, Agent.
Okay, so this is honestly a very BL coded story. This is a bunch of pretty boys who now have the names of famous musicians because the school they go to has genetically altered them to be super composers in the same way Metal Gear Solid makes their super soldiers. I don't know why that's a plot point into this musical fucking high school show, but it is. It very much is a high school boy BL love story that ends with a big musical number at the end. I almost want to say idol anime, but I think boy band anime might be a better description.
I really, really think this one might be a gacha game anime as well.
I could almost believe you, but they don't seem to have very many other characters, so I'm a little iffy on that. I would have to look that up. Overall, this was a very... There was almost nothing to latch on to. It's like the anime, like the big musical numbers are CGI idol style. They do some cool things because it's not just them dancing. They try to be extremely interesting with that. I think the first song was a boxing match. The second song is in Winter Wonderland ice skating rink. So they're at least visually entertaining in concept, if not greatly done. You know what this is, episode 1. If you've seen any kind of tsundere, this is the show, this is the high-headed guy, this is the the lady boy, this is the cold. This is what that is. I'm gonna put this above Brilliant Healer at the very least, but no. Yuki, would you like to say 2 pieces about this that you did start watching and put it down?
I don't know. I'd hoped it was going somewhere else when there was like the boxing element at the beginning, but then it became clear that that was just supposed to be like the character's bad boy background. And I was really like, why are we getting classical music in this show, even though classic is in the name of the show, because it just felt weird and out of place. And then the music starts, and the music doesn't actually have anything to do with the classical music. It just kind of takes over from it.
I will say on the later episodes, they do kind of rework some of their bigger pieces into the music. So I do believe episode 2 has some Mozart remix in it.
Interesting.
Yeah, also, while we were fixing your eye, we've genetically altered your DNA. We took added Mozart into it.
That's not weird or anything.
I'm sorry. The fact that's like a major plot point they're going through in this show. Just like, no, we've been given this great gift. We were genetically compatible to receive like the what? What? No, this is the wrong show for that. Please stop. Please stop.
Yeah. And this also suffers from like one of the typical problems we see in a lot of these shows, which is the CGI used for the idol portion of it, and that showing up in other parts of the show as well for no apparent reason other than they have the model and want to save the budget.
Yeah, this
I don't
is
know.
one episode. Maybe you'll like it.
I can tell for sure I'm definitely biased against this one, but at the same time, it evoked visceral pain in me to watch it.
Yep. Okay, you. What do we got next on the docket?
And next up is the Unaware Atelier Meister.
仕事を探してます。戦闘系の適性全部才能なし。こんな頼りなさそうな子じゃなくて、もっと屈強なドワーフとか雇いたいんだけど。
臨時職員だ。
任せてください。
セメントを作って。はい。募集しろ。
はい。できました。できた？これでこの辺りの岩は調べ尽くしましたね。
たった3時間で。
はい。わけがわからん。僕また何かしちゃったのかな。あいつは自分の実力を自覚してないどころか低く見積もりすぎている。
クルト様にとって私はただの一人の女性。これを作った人教えて。
クルト君、あなたは一体。よし頑張るぞ。二人同じテントで寝るんですか？
すべてはクルト様という方のおかげで。
There's a lot more nudity than I anticipated in this preview.
力のない僕が英雄のパーティーをクビになり途方に暮れて旅をする。そんなよくある物語である。これはユーリシアさんが町に行っている間に作っておきました。クルト、家が一晩で建つことについてどう思う？うちの田舎ではよくあることでしたから普通のことじゃないんですか
？So I know you bounced off this one pretty hard.
Yeah, the main character is a wet noodle.
Yeah, that's certainly a way to describe him. This anime has a lot of the DNA of a sort of shonen series that came out some years back where the character was super overpowered but like thought that was just like totally normal and maybe even under average because of how incredibly powerful everyone from their hometown was. This follows up on that almost exactly, except instead of combat, it's crafting skills and harvesting skills.
Yeah, it's like, I was thinking of that same one, honestly.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it offhand, but
the boy from the village next to like the end of the dungeon or something like that. I don't know. It was like
yeah. It's just kind of one of those trash tier series. It's not technically an isekai, but it feels like one.
I can't believe it's not isekai. Yay.
Yeah. This is another one of those shows where you're definitely going to know what you're getting into episode 1. I won't say the show has a ton of redeeming value other than it's an okay kind of comfort watch. If you need something that's not at all serious or anything. For those who care, it is dubbed, so there's that.
It is?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, that would make that infinitely easier to watch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been watching it in English.
Yeah, a lot more dubbed this season than we're used to. Okay, guys, it's okay for me to miss some.
Also, again, whoever's in charge of deciding which things should be simul-dubbed needs to be fired.
Oh God, yeah, it's okay. It's in one episode. It's not awful. The main character does look like the main guy from Dungeon Domasi, I think it is.
Something like that, maybe, yeah.
You know, I can't believe it's okay to pick up girls in a dungeon, whatever the heck the Japanese name for that was.
No, it's definitely not that show.
I'm saying it's like
Takamachi is what you're thinking of.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the main character looks like Belle from that.
Oh, looks like them. Yeah, kind of a rip off of that style.
Yeah, this feels like secondhand story in a lot of spots, but
oh, for sure. Yeah, it's just kind of like mishmashing a few like common tropes together.
But okay, what do we got on the next?
Next up is Moonrise.
Okay, I didn't actually put this one on here because this is a Crunchyroll or a Netflix dump show. So okay. I think it's at 20 episodes right now.
It's at what?
Like 20 episodes available right now.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, maybe we want to go ahead and skip this one then. I haven't watched any of it anyway, so.
Neither have I. I thought I put skip on the list, but yeah, no, we'll be covering the simul season stuff when Netflix holds or dumps shows like that. We will not be covering. That is why Devil May Cry is not on this list.
All right. So the next up is The Two Perfect Saint, tossed aside by my fiance and sold to another kingdom.
That's a light novel title if I ever heard of one.
Yokoso. Paruna Korutae.
Are you kidding me? No subtitles on this one either?
Sorry, Eugene.
It's not you, because you're finding the most obvious trailer. But
よろしくな聖女フィリア殿聖女様をエスコートする栄誉を賜れるとは光栄だアルムブルクをご案内しよう
フィリアさんあなたの働きは聞いていますやはりこの国にお呼びしようと提案したのは正解でした
フィリア様お掃除終わりました今日もいいお天気ですねレオナルドさんも腕の振るいがいがありますよね
私たちはフィリア様の生活全般のお世話を仰せつかっていますのでフィリア様
Nope, no go, I tried
ひまりお約束通り
I mean, they do have the AI subtitles, but
私に命じてください必ずやご期待に添えましょう
Yeah, but it was setting it to Japanese
Oh, you can change that in the settings, actually.
ないよな聖女なんて祈ってりゃいいんだから能力なんて関係ないし
フィリア殿あなたについて教えてくれ聖女としてではなくフィリア・アデナウはあなたのことが知りたいフ
ィリア様は
Apparently I can't
大切な人なんだって早く気づいてほしいですね
こうして故郷に売られた少女フィリアのパルナコルタの聖女としての生活が始まったのでした
完璧すぎて可愛げがないと婚約破棄された聖女は隣国に売られる
Okay then. So for anyone confused about that, this is very much about a person who is like the savior or protector of a country who, while being very good at her job, does not have a lot of natural charisma and has kind of had a bunch of the people in the country not happy with her and is eventually sold off to another country who is desperate to get a saint savior.
Also, low-key siscon stuff going on in this, as you might have guessed from the like holding hands thing that was in that end card.
Overall,
but yeah,
I was gonna say it's like this has been one of the heavier stories, but not like crushingly heavy. But with also a nice lighthearted upturn. This has been a actual feel-good show for me to go to this season so far.
Yeah, animation-wise, we're looking a little bit under par, I would say, but not so bad that we've got like horrible CGI monsters running around everywhere. Just don't expect a lot of like movement out of the characters and stuff like that. relatively low budget series here.
Yeah, while this does have some combat, this is very much supposed to be a not slice of life, but fantasy-esque story with a lot of interesting world building and character development. Which overall, the characters are all lovable. The main character is just this little bundle of I'm trying to do my best. All right, that's emotion. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how to feel about those. Like if you wanted that almost autistic neurodivergent main character, this has a good feel for that. Overall,
Yeah, it does feel like she's being very discriminated against for like low-key neurodiversity.
other than that, the support cast we get in the back, and once we get to our main setting, is very good. The people who were putting her down feel like comeuppance are going to be had at some point, while a overall better mystery is kind of portraying in the background. I have been loving this. That being said, I feel like one episode kind of gets you to where you need to go.
I don't know about that, because I feel like episode 1 really doesn't get you to the point where you're meeting any of the extended cast, and it's just kind of all the like everyone being down on her within her own kingdom stuff. It's not until like episode 2-ish that she actually goes to the other kingdom, and we start to see that the series kind of takes a turn a bit.
Yeah, no, okay, 2 episodes. I can definitely agree with on that one. Thinking about that, because we don't get a lot of the good supporting cast until episode 2. Just more the I hate people in episode 1. But one to keep an eye on for this season, I would say. That's going at the top of our 2-episode list for me.
Fair enough. All right, next up is Shirohio, reincarnated as a neglected noble.
何この可愛い生き物。
例のこと浮いてっちゃメイでしょ。
やだー、私の弟だった。
Hero, instantly with the hate.
実は私には前世の記憶がある。
I'm guessing you have a problem with small children,
見
Hero.
事な白豚ですね。ダイエット頑張らなきゃ。え？ムキムキも。レグルス君、私の弟。私はお兄ちゃんなのだ。弟の面倒をしっかり見てあげないと。料理も裁縫も楽しい。前世の自分の趣味だったから。よし、頑張るか。何よりレグルス君のため。あ、
おいち
ありがとう。
So based off another light novel series, as the trailer was keen to point off.
Shocking.
I think
well,
this
apparently novels, comics, and what they're calling junior novels, which I'm assuming are light novels.
Okay. I think you had a hard skip on this one, Yuki.
I did manage to force my way through 1 episode, but I'll definitely let you take the lead on it.
So yeah, in Isekai, okay, this reminds me of, what was it? The reincarnated, and I get to focus on my magic in my next life. Kind of is that it's all right. You're gonna watch young children be cute and have mild magical adventures. This, I don't quite want to put this in the skip. But there was so much box standard recycled concepts and tropes with mediocre animation, maybe
at best, yeah.
And like, I'm not the animation guy, and even I could tell that they were skipping out on this stuff, and it's like I said, it's the 2 main characters are kind of interesting. They do try to drop a bit in the first episode of, oh no, my brother's going to grow up to try to kill me, I think, but it's
might have been episode 2 because I don't remember catching that part, but
It might have been a
I may not quite have
post-credits.
finished episode 1.
It might have been post credits or it is the very end at the very least. It's
I see.
if you this isn't bad enough for a skip yet. This isn't unredeemable, but this is isekai trash through and through.
And not especially good isekai trash. My take on it, all I'll really add is there's definitely some like Brocon vibes there between small children. So if that makes you uncomfortable, this is probably a hard pass. Also, there's a lot of like fat phobic humor in this. So if that's something that bothers you, you probably want to give this a pass as well.
Oh, trust me, they explain the main character's like home life later on, and it's he wishes he was an orphan.
Yeah, in the opening credits, they literally put the chubby main character next to a picture of a pig that is a diagram of all the different parts of the pig when you cut it up and eat it. So it's that kind of level of like fat phobic content.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's I want to put this below Compass. Do you have any complaints on that?
I do not.
Like I like there was stuff in Compass I enjoyed from how goofy and stupid it was. This was boring at most of the time.
Compass at least tried to have like a combat element to it and feel like it was doing something cool, even if it wasn't necessarily this. I bounced off of much harder.
Yep. All right. Moving on.
Next up is Lazarus. And we're gradually creeping more into our kind of Adult Swim section here.
About 4 years ago,
With this being a literal Adult Swim show.
developed a miracle painkiller known as Hopna.
As a matter of fact, I did not develop Hopna to act as a mere painkiller.
And as it turned out, Hopna was a grand trap that he set upon us all.
3 years after ingestion, Hopna will mutate, killing all those who have taken it. But you should all know that I currently have the cure. You have 30 days. So unless you find me within that time, hope will be lost forever.
Yo, Skinner. You see me in there? Remember this face. I'm coming after you. Your ass is mine.
Who the hell are those people?
We call ourselves Lazarus.
It's go time!
We're here to save the world.
So basically, we're superheroes.
I found Dr. Skinner.
It looks like there are thousands of him.
I swear Skinner is the devil incarnate.
And I suppose that makes us the angels that are gonna kick his ass back to hell.
Do I have clearance to use an assault rifle?
You're authorized to use anything.
Are you actually enjoying this?
It's that obvious.
DEA, FBI! Lazarus! What's Lazarus?
We're superheroes.
He's totally out of his mind.
From anime legend Shinichiro Watanabe, Lazarus premieres April 5th at midnight in Toonami. Next day on Max.
So yeah, we have a Toonami original, I believe. I'm loving this show. You only need one episode to really find it, but this is from the creator of Bebop, Samurai Champloo kind of vibe, and they kind of nail that jazzy feel quite a bit. It's a pseudo futuristic, so add 10 years onto
Near future.
our world. I thought about the real world and got depressed instantly.
Yeah.
It feels very good. It's done well. The problem I've seen with the show so far is they tend to fall off or have a bad ending. This is going to be very make or break on that. So far, though, I think this is one of my top picks for the season. Yuki?
I would say it's fair to put it in the top slot of the one episodes that we've seen so far. What I will throw out there is yes, the Cowboy Bebop DNA especially is very strong in this one. I also see some elements borrowed out of like Aeon Flux, which I know wasn't from this creator, but he seems to be kind of low-key referencing it a little bit here and there.
Oh, they feel like there's some almost cyberpunk feel in this damn show.
Yeah. I will say that the trailer does not oversell this show. You're going to get a lot of action-packed, like chase scenes and fight scenes, and all of it's going to look pretty decent. Well, more than decent, really, like pretty far above average. Most of the complaints I'd have about this show are minor gripes, and most of them only really stem from the inevitable comparison that one has to make of this show against Cowboy Bebop because of the, pedigree that it has and the clear similarities. But in a vacuum, this is easily one of the best shows this season. I will say, though, especially the music to me is kind of disappointing compared to Cowboy Bebop. It has similar jazzy vibes, but it just does not have the same energy to it.
No, you can't have every soundtrack be a fucking hit or a bop or jam, but this is very passable. This probably won't be on anybody's playlist, but it does its job fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just not an absolute banger like Bebop was.
Yeah. That being said, if you are watching on Toonami, man, you still have TV? What the hell? For most of us watching on Max, this is a fun ride and is one of the few reasons to get Max, I guess. But it's there. It's fine. It's at the top of our one episode so far. All right.
All right. Next up is another high dive show. Rock is a lady's modesty.
この学園におけるレディとは犠牲と奉仕の精神を持ち一族の繁栄を支え格式こそ重んじる大和なでしこのこと
私はお嬢様になるためにギターを捨てたそれに何一つの未練もないだからあれは間違いださあ一緒に交わりましょう今の私にはこんなもの必要ないもっと燃やせよ落ちるのバラバラ私は絶対に認めないではごきげんよう
So, I put this a little bit towards the end because there are definitely periodic like BDSM themes that come up in this show. I'm aware been I want to say toned down, but the reality is heavily censored from the original manga version, where the characters were typically nude in these scenes, rather than as they've opted here to keep them fully clothed. Weird season this time around with the shows on High Dive actually being fairly heavily censored and the shows on Crunchyroll, well, at least one show being very much less so.
Yeah.
Agent, any thoughts on this one?
Unfortunately, this kind of fell under my thing. I did not think this was going to be up my alley too much, so I kind of skipped. I kind of want to do this now. Rock and roll happens to save a lot of stuff for genres I dislike, and this does kind of look good. The more I looked, like after I looked into this, starting to build it, it almost was giving me Detroit Metal City vibes. If you're familiar with that old banger,
Only very vaguely. Oh no, we've got a bot.
I got you. But no, I had to. I did not catch this one, so you will.
All right. I'll fill everybody in while you take care of the bot then. So the basic premise is the main character is a commoner who has had her mother recently marry into a very prestigious old money family in Japan and has been shipped off to this all-girls school. Where she's trying to be kind of the perfect daughter to make sure her and her mother don't get kicked out of the house and the family, and has kind of sealed off her rock and roll past that was like her her biological father's influence, and finds herself confronted with this other girl who pressures her into joining her as a band in secret to kind of vent out their frustrations and everything through rock and roll. It's honestly a pretty decent show. Animation for the most part looks nice. I have mixed feelings about the CGI that they use for the concert scenes. I'm happy that it doesn't show up in the rest of the show. I understand that there was probably a very strong practical need for it to make it look like the characters were doing anything resembling actually playing instruments. It's obviously like mocapped and has kind of a VTuber feel to it. But I think since all the characters are doing that state simultaneously and it doesn't just pop up in other parts of the show, it's easier to forgive it. Also, it feels like they still keep like 2D faces to have more control over the facial expressions during the scenes, which is an interesting choice, but one that works very well, I feel, and helps keep the focal point away from the CGI that doesn't necessarily look quite as good. But yeah, it's an interesting show if you like band shows, which are the one with lesbians, the one with lesbians, the one with lesbians, the one with lesbians, and the one with lesbians so far. This is, another one of those.
All right, Yuki, where are we throwing this one?
Ranking wise, I think it's probably objectively, I would say it's probably above Gorilla God somewhere.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty decent show. And also, not a lot of other shows doing this lately, particularly with the rock element. We just don't see a lot of that.
Yep. Okay, let's see what we have next on the docket.
Next up is Catch Me at the Ballpark.
ビールいかがですか？
社畜の道まっしぐらの俺、村田は逃げ込むように訪れる場所がある。球場だ。
ちょっとお兄さん。
はい。
さっきからビールいかがですかって言ってんじゃん。売り子ってさ、装備がマジやばいんだよね。
可愛いだけじゃダメなんて奥が深いんですね。
ビールって注ぎ方ですっごい味変わるじゃん。はい、700円。
頼むぞ、仕事のストレスを発散させてくれ。
またね、常連さん。お兄さんの応援もちゃんと選手に届いてると思うよ。
俺もあの人みたいに堂々とポジティブでいられたらな。
ビールいかがっすか？
Okay, yeah, to be
She
fair,
sure did.
That was a joke in the thing. She purposely poured to that horribly to make fun of the guy. This is a workplace skit comedy. set in a baseball park.
Yes, it is also kind of, at least especially in episode 1, very much a we have Nagatoro at home. But even if we have Nagatoro at home is still pretty decent, and if you were uncomfortable with the age category of Nagatoro and would rather have that be between working age people, then this might be a little bit for you. Although they do leave the age of the beer cellar girl a little bit nebulous, and we get the sense that she could be kind of fresh out of high school, maybe even still in high school. We don't really know.
Generally, you have to be at least 18 to serve alcohol, though.
That would make a lot of sense. I don't know the rules for that myself in Japan, but I could see that.
Yeah.
Given that the drinking age is 20, usually you have to be at least vaguely drinking age to serve alcohol in most places.
Yeah. As much as, okay, that is the weird part about episode 1. I almost want to give this one to episode 2 because while the girl and the guy are on the cover and we're heavily in the trailer, they maybe get most episodes have 3 skits. Going back on that, they maybe get 1 of the 3 skits per episode. I think there's a later episode where they're just side characters and other skits.
Yeah, there's at least, I think, 1 episode where they were just kind of cameos.
Yeah, so don't expect them to be the central focus. The jokes on this, like, I'm not somebody who knows a lot about baseball or goes to ballparks or likes beer. I like this show. This has been one of my go-to relaxation shows, and I love the feel of the characters. The stadium and the area they put you in feel good. Every time they add a new skit that introduces a new person, they kind of get to be a background character floating on from them, and you just get this almost old school American sitcom. Like, I don't want to say quite like Cheers, but I very much get like that kind of feel from this, and this has been great overall for me.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I mean, this definitely isn't the best series around visually or anything like that, but it's cute. It's an easy watch, and it has decent humor and decent character-driven story moments throughout.
Yep.
All right.
And according to my
next
roommate, baseball fan approved.
Oh, gotcha. Next up is Summer Pockets.
鳥、あの時海の上を2羽の鳥が飛んでいたの。
Candidate Tai Chibana.
私のお願い聞いてくれないかな。当ててあげようか。
The voice actor hero?
行こう。こっちだよ。とにかく私が寝てても放っておいて。うるさい。とにかくこれには触んな。あんたっていいやつなんだなって。探し物です。それとやりたいことを探しています。
I really liked Angel Beats. That's one of my favorite anime.
One of the shows on here is from the guy who did Clannad.
Yeah.
あなたは何しに来たの？こんな島に。
I don't remember which show was from that director, though. Is it this one?
This seems like the most likely one for it to be. I will say that it definitely gives me those old school, like early 2000s, or even 90s visual novel based anime vibes that we don't see nearly as much anymore, with everything having gone more towards like light novels and like gotcha games.
No, this one is. This one definitely is, because I distinctly remember when I was looking up the thumbnail for this one, this was the one I saw a Switch cover for it, looked into it, and it's based off the VN from the same guy who did Clannad. So this is the one from the creator of Clannad.
And it is, in fact, based off a visual novel. Nice to have that confirmation, too.
Yes.
Definitely had those vibes to it.
No, sad and emotional
this
love
is
stories.
Not that so far.
Yeah, no, those are the ones I have the hardest time with. I haven't caught this one,
it's
though.
It's possible this could evolve into that, but even Clannad didn't necessarily start by punching you directly in the gut.
Okay, Yuki.
So did you catch any of this one, Agent?
No, once again, I kind of saw the sad vibes, and I could not handle those at the moment.
Interesting. So I would say that this was actually among the less sad shows this season, at least as far as I've gotten into it so far. It's, if anything, very, very light and like not a lot going on, at least in the first several episodes. But it could be building towards something, and it's possible that what it's building towards has a lot to do with like trauma. We're definitely hinted that the main character is a former swimmer who now has a fear of being in the water.
Well, there's a writer of Clannad doing a trauma story, huh?
Yeah, who would have thought, right?
How original.
Hey, when you're very, very good at something.
I mean, like the guy who does the fairy tale characters.
Oh dear.
Okay. Anything more you want to add to this one?
I don't know. Like everything looks reasonably nice in this, but it's mostly like the backgrounds that are carrying it. I would say there's not a ton of like action happening in this show in general for the most part. I think there was like one scene where they're like riding something down a hill that had that going on, and it looked all right. Yeah, this is probably something that you'll get a decent feel for it on episode 1. Just another one of those standard warnings. There's definitely a lolly in this show who is almost certainly one of the routes from the game.
Yeah, all right. So we're putting this in the 1 episode then?
Probably, yeah.
Whereabouts?
I would put it... I mean, animation-wise, it's better, but from what I've seen of the plot so far and everything, it's probably below Gorilla God. It could turn out to be way better as we get deeper into the series, but I can only go off of what they've released so far. Fuko, oh!
What?
Fuko-chan was a character from, I think it was Clannad. I'm assuming it was Clannad. I can't remember. There was another show that was similar at the time that it could have been from, but I'm pretty sure she was the main character. Yeah, the Starfish Girl.
Okay.
She was heartbreaking.
Okay. We're getting towards the end, everybody. Let's load up the next one.
All right. Next up is the Hyunji family children. I can't believe it's not incest.
なんで我が家でまでガード固めなきゃいけないのよ。ごめん、さっきまで格ゲーしてて。私には1ミリもその気がありません。弟の特権でしょ。感謝してもらわなきゃ。お兄ちゃんの力加減が一番好き。
そうは言っても兄弟。何も変わらねえよ。何も。
君たちは本当の兄弟ではない。
兄弟同士での
Not blood related.
運命の人とも呼べる相手はいるのか。場所や言葉じゃなくて、そして誰にされるかだよね。ねえねえ、デートしよっか。それは弟でもいいのか。好き。だって兄弟じゃないなら恋人にもなれるでしょ。だからみんなもライバル。
誰が何と言おうと一人残らず幸せにしてみせる。
So this is the entire family thinks that they're related until suddenly dad drops a bomb on them at the dinner table and tells them that they're all adopted and none of them are biologically related, including the twins who thought that they were twins.
Oh.
So now it's interesting that you say that, Caro, because that is absolutely 100% the stance that the main character, male protagonist, takes in the show. It is very much not the stance that all the other characters take in the show.
Oh my, yeah, no, Caro, I'm right there with you. I have a bunch of step siblings. I have a bunch of half siblings. Nothing would change on that. Nothing. It's. Is this a single child thing? Do you people like to fantasize about having non-blood related siblings to romance? Is that Alabama blood flowing thicker than we think it does?
Well, I will say that, like, the whole stepsister tag is extremely popular on certain adult websites, and I think they're trying to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I watched an episode of this and was bleh.
Except for the blonde one, who is in fact a working adult.
I thought it was the brunette, like the old sister that loves to emphasize how big her boobs are.
No, she's blonde.
Is she okay?
But yeah, it is her, yes.
Yeah, it goes to show. Well, how old is the male lead? Is he like 16?
Male lead is 16, yeah. And she is, I believe, 20.
Okay, yeah, that's a little bit much. Like 16 to 18, I'm a little lenient on just because
that's what they call the Romeo and Juliet laws.
Yeah. Past that, it gets a little bit twitchy. Yeah, it's isn't the best written. It's all the cast are the except honestly, like Loud House stereotypes is what fucking came to mind when I watched this.
Well, I will say, at least in the internet discourse, Protag Kun in the show has been getting a lot of props for being a much better protagonist than we see in most other shows, and doing things in a way that would be considered much more ethical than we typically see.
Yeah, other than that, though, this is not the best, not the worst. Did I already rank this? Or nope.
If the concept, like, okay, if the incest thing is not your deal, you're not going to want to deal with this show. If it is your deal, you're probably going to be very into this show.
Even then, I would say it's such a slow burn of a comedy. It's like, eh. Although I almost want to say 2 episodes, since episode 1 does so much just to introduce people and drop that bombshell on you. I felt like you don't really get a feel for how everything's going till episode 2.
I think that's fair, yeah.
I'm going to throw this towards.
Although we do find out that there's at least one character who was 100% willing to go through with things back when they didn't know that they were not related.
Yay. All right, moving on from this trade wreck already. Because horny, Caro.
No. They definitely kind of. I won't go into it. It's not worth it.
Yep. Let's, like I said, let's move on. What do we got next?
Next up is a ninja and assassin under one roof. We can turn people into leaves. We have the technology.
さとこちゃんには追っ手である上位ランキングの忍者が来るわけでしょ。私はそれから守ってあげる。殺し屋？本当にいたんだ。忍者に言われちゃった。私、料理は得意です。結婚しようか。明日お弁当も作ってね。はい、任せてください。じゃあ、学校行ってきます。コナンさんの下着の匂いをたどってきました。はぁ？どんな依頼なんですか？さとこちゃん、いつものお願い。はーい、葉っぱに変えちゃいますね。殺し屋の人。
Yeah, there's another couple in the show that's literally lesbians.
メガネアサシン。私は別に砂糖を抜けるつもりは。このレベルで私よりランキングが上なのか。このこれでメガネアサシンは問題なさそうだな。私は落ちこぼれで抜け人とはいえ忍びの端くれ。そういうことから逃げ出して普通に暮らすために里抜けたってのに何やってんだよ。よろしくね。私のために働いてもらうぞ、忍者の女。私受けてるんですからね、拷問訓練。殺し屋ランキングとかってどうなりました？まあ上に200人以上いるから2人で頑張りましょう。テレビアニメ「忍者と殺し屋の2人暮らし」。
So this is probably like the big surprise hit of the season.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is my top show from this season. I don't know how it did it, but why is this so good?
I mean, putting aside the lesbians, this show has some of the more impressive sakuga that we've seen this season, which people have, observed online. How did the like weird little comedy about an assassin and a ninja living together get all of the budget for all of the cool fight scenes, while the anime that was supposed to be the big, like, impressive sakuga anime for the season got like nothing?
Yeah, so as the whole premise of the show is runaway ninja kind of falls into living with an assassin as their cleanup party. Hijinks ensue. Both people are incredibly unstable and kind of get into a codependent relationship. And oh my god, and the amount of people that get like straight up murked, die unalived is amazing in this.
What's more impressive is that the people getting murked are clearly very fully fleshed out characters with their own awesome, unique character designs, ability sets, backgrounds, and then they just like are instantly murked for the sake of humor.
Oh my god. One other thing I will say that really stuck out to me, I did mention it to you, the cuts and editing on this remind me of the Bakemonogatari series.
It might be the same studio, because I believe this was a Mappa production.
That makes sense. Right? Same team, because it's a lot of those quick cuts where they use the editing as part of the gag itself with how quickly they're supposed to move. All in a good way. Like, it's the best parts of that show. This a little PSP just wants to put it in the must watch of how weirdly good it is, but
I would say that's actually absolutely fair. If we can't put a sleeper hit in that category, what can we? Actually, Lazarus probably belongs up there as well if we're really being I
could be a little bit more lenient. That's not like I was almost treating must watch like our S-class ranking, but no, I could definitely see both of these unless they really just have a problem at the end doing decently. But yeah, Ninja and Assassin, it's if you like Yuri Bait, if you like Great Sakuga, if you like over-the-top comedy, great. It has all three of those in high quality and boatloads. Anything else, Yuki?
No, I think that's pretty much covers it, because there's not a whole lot else to say there. Be prepared for some really adult themes, not in the sexual sense, but in the dealing with adult problems sense as well, in a humorous way. Next up, we have Kowloon Generic Romance.
That was cool, Woo. It's because it's that Tokyo City or district or Bronx, or whatever the heck they're called.
Oh, I don't know. It's spelled K-O-W, though.
私記憶がないんです。過去の自分を全く思い出せない。
みんなクーロンに恋をしているんだ。新しいものなんて必要ないんだよ。クジライ、ヒーローは遅れてくるってのがお約束だろ。
私は工藤さんの知ってるクジライ玲子ではないんでしょう。
知らないのはお前の方だろ。
知らないのか、アイス周りの花言葉。あなただけを見つめてる。過去がない人間なんて他にもいるよ。例えば私とか。
素晴らしすぎてどうにかなる。
Very, yes.
このクーロンは俺の知ってるクーロンじゃない。
人っちゅうのは見たいもんを見てまう生き物や。
この人生が彼女のもの。
この夏のクーロンはどうかしてるぜ。
私は知りたい。たとえそれが恐ろしいものだとして。
クーロンジェネリックロマンス。
話すか。俺の知ってるクジライ玲子のこと。
Okay. Now, this, while having a definitely 90s animation style, also has... Okay, if I wanted to compare this to two things, it would either be Paranoid Agents or Paprika, the movie. This is
Interesting, yes.
comes off as a romance, but has a psychological mystery underneath.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna. What'd you have to go ahead?
Yeah, so it's got that older animation style to it that's very reminiscent of that era, but it's clearly been kind of pepped up with modern techniques to improve the visual fidelity. This is a very, very interesting show. It's one of those shows that really kind of keeps you guessing, and just kind of gradually hints at what's really going on while keeping things moving with the character development and romance and friendships that are developing around the main character, who is, in this case, really the female protagonist.
Yeah. Needless to say, it's a show that comes off as a generic romance, kind of set in an older style, but has a lot going on under the hood, as well as being able to nail the main characters themselves. This has been a very enjoyable show for me. Although, like I said, these shows live or die by their ending, and if it can live up to that, it'll do good. If not, it's going to be a bit of a letdown, because this has done so good. I would say this isn't a must watch. This is a one episode. I'm going to throw it at the top of the one episodes currently too. But any other thoughts from you, Yuki?
No, yeah, I agree. Like, you really have to get the payoff for all the setup, or it just doesn't work. And I really hope that this one delivers on that, because it has the potential to be very, very good.
You think of Ava because Ava was one of the last shows done in this art style. It feels like before digital became a bigger thing, and
certainly one of the more popular.
Yeah, and influentials. Funny enough, Ava's creator does have a show this season, but unfortunately, it's a spin-off of another franchise. Oh, the psychological aspect. Yeah, Kiro, if you ever watched Paranoid Agents, or if you would like to get a feel for it, go look up the movie Paprika. Just be aware that you can't stop paying full attention to the show as you watch it, or you will be completely lost.
All right. Next up, we have I'm the evil lord of an intergalactic empire. They are not. It's a different style. If anything, I don't want to say it's more like Akira, because it's not exactly, but at the same time, it kind of is.
Yep.
Anyway, here we go.
今度の俺は悪徳領主になる。他者を踏みつけ虐げる側になる。そのためにも強い力が欲しい。ぜひぜひ私を弟子にしてください。
いや、これ最初から切れてる手品なんだよね。
色仕掛けですと。なんとリオム様がハニートラップに引っかかってしまうとは。私は案内にナイスな負の感情テイスティー。
これからは悪徳領主として領民どもから搾取してやる。これも俺を転生させてくれた案内人のおかげだ。ありがとう案内人。
次の仕事が決まった。バンフィールド叩き潰す。
This is one of those shows that, while not of exceptional quality, is endlessly entertaining.
Yep. So we have what I think is the first future isekai I've ever seen.
No, it can't be the first. I mean, at the very least, while it wasn't strictly future, there was like Visions of Escaflowne back in the day.
That was the past. That was a fantasy world with the mechs in it. That was not future.
It was technically the past, yes, but it was future tech past.
I understand what you mean. I won't accept it, but I understand where you're trying to go. But no, this is a full sci-fi isekai. Main character is actually set up to fail for a big twist of this one. He is not supposed to be OP or succeed in life. He is there to, oh, hey, your life was absolutely horrible and you had one of the worst endings imaginable to everything. I'm gonna give you a good chance, and oh nope, round 2 of horrible things happening to you.
On that note, episode 1 of this show is a bit of a bummer.
Oh yeah. I will say I think this is another 2-episode show, just from the amount of backstory that gets built up in episode 1. It doesn't really.
That and the fact that episode 1 just is not representative of the tone of the rest of the show.
No, it is not. No, it is not. That being said, I have been loving this show. It's not. It has the special Crunchyroll logo, but it's not on their simulcast list. Why? Yeah, okay. You know, I'm gonna blame Sony. Sony sucks for that. But it's very interesting. It's once again, it's a mecha, so plus 2 points for me. 2 points to Slytherin, I guess, with Evil Overlord. Yuki, would you like to add anything to this one?
Yeah, I did put this one a little bit towards the end because there's definitely a lot of sexual humor in this show, and a lot of it is centered around a character that, while reincarnated and definitely emotionally more mature than he is physically, is definitely still a child in a lot of the contexts that sexual humor presents itself.
I think by like episode
also,
2, he's 18, maybe.
I don't think he's even that much. He definitely ages up into a teenager, but I don't think he's quite to the 18 mark yet. Maybe like 14 or something.
Oh, which is even weirder in the context of the show because of oh no, you're not considered to be an adult till you're 80 or something like that.
No, actually, he's considered an adult at 5 when he inherits the family.
Watch the show if you want to get more context for that. We're not going to explain it, but it's actually funnier than it sounds.
Yeah. That said, yeah, definitely a little more adult oriented with the humor and stuff in this one. There's definitely a lot of jokes centered around like the android girl having very specific sexual parts picked out by somebody. I won't spoil things, I guess.
Oh, that's even weirder than you think it sounds too.
Oh yeah. But that brings us deep into Adult Swim territory. Everything from this point onward is I can't believe it's not hentai levels of porn.
But all right, Yuki, what's our
Next up is Yandere Dark Elf. She chased me all the way from another world.
異世界から帰還して1ヶ月。僕はすっかり元の生活に戻った。望んでいた平和で安全な毎日。でも愛が重い。
ひなたに溜まってるもの一滴残らず絞
I had a theory early on that the main character might secretly be female, but that seems to have been blown.
ずーっとそばにいるよ。
僕が異世界で出会ったダークエルフの女の子マリアベルはちょっとだけ愛が重い。
ふつつかものですがよろしくお願いします。テレビアニメちょっとだけ愛が重いダークエルフが異世界から追いかけてきた。2025年4月放送開始。
So this is another high dive show. And this one, they made the weird decision to heavily censor it, which is very unusual for high dive.
I'm wondering
this is also kind of a short form show. It's like half-length episodes, like 14 minutes-ish.
I'm kind of wondering if that was the Japanese side and High Dive's just picking it up like that.
It's entirely possible, but usually even when they do that, they end up getting the uncensored version, because there's usually an uncensored release for Blu-ray. And the studios, like, they add the censorship in post. They don't draw it that way. So they usually have an uncensored cut that they're able to provide.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a reverse isekai trash show.
It is and it isn't. It's actually, I would say, a post-isekai, reverse isekai trash show. Because the central plot of this is the Demon Lord's already been defeated. The main character returns as the conquering hero to their own world and goes back to school. And then the rest of the party starts to show up.
Yeah, if you want base trash, it's not the worst option. If it was uncensored, I would give this a few more points than it's getting, but it's, you know what it is, episode 1. It's
yeah, I can't really, like, it doesn't even really make good on its own promise of the Dark Elf being Yandere. Like, you get a little bit of that occasionally, but for the most part, she actually feels very sweet and wholesome. So I don't know. Maybe they're going for like a gap moe thing with that. I'm not sure. It is what it is. It's a low budget boobs anime.
Yep.
That said, also the main character is definitely still of school age, and is definitely being pursued by characters that are much, much older than them.
Yeah. The school age thing is, I always have a weird thing with the, hey, I'm a several 100-year-old fantasy creature. I'm going to date this human. It's there's always something weird about that. It's hard to justify, but also unjustify. So it is what it is.
I suppose you could say from the perspective of a dark elf that's lived for thousands of years, there's not really a huge difference between a human who's 14 versus 18.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to our final show for the. You know what? After we know with this trailer, Yuki, you were going to explain what the premise of this show is.
Okay. So we're ending with please put them on Takamine-san.
Kadakawa.
パンツを履かせなさい。
Now this one, weirdly enough, is uncensored on Crunchyroll.
私の下着を持ち、付き従い、どこでも着替えのサポートをする。独占欲を煽ればいいように踊るかと思ったのだけど、失敗だったようね。
生徒会長、高峰高根の秘密。
Not actually Komi, but does have Komi vibes.
白田講師は会長にパンツを履かせるクローゼットとしての生活を強いられることとなった。
私が個人行動する場合、あなたはどうするのだったかしら。
これ今日一日であと何回能力を使うんだ。
世界で唯一私の秘密を知っている白田くんには今後ともたくさん心配をかけていいのかしら。もしかしてこうちゃん？私だよ、エリーだよ。
エリー、あんたよく飽きずに来るね。
やり直しよ。やり直すわ。
しまった、焦って半端に履かせちゃってた。
しっかり履き直させてくれなきゃ。あなたの仕事でしょ。紳士的なところ、昔のままね。聞かせてちょうだい。正直な気持ちを。
会長、一つ聞いても。
何かしら。
会長が優しくしてくれるのは飴とムチの飴なんですか？それとも。
白田くんはどちらなら嬉しい？
And hopefully we don't get in trouble with Twitch for this one. Or the next one.
Oh, you know
All right,
what?
you wanted me to explain the plot of this one.
Yeah.
The plot of this anime is the actual main character, which is the female lead, has an ability called Eternal Virgin Road, wherein by removing her undergarments, she can time travel and incur a butterfly effect to change things and reset. We're not actually told how far back she can go, but it seems to be probably usually within several minutes of her point that she removed the undergarments at. She uses this in her pursuit of perfectionism to correct minor mistakes in her everyday life. And as it turns out, and this is a point of the plot that really, really doesn't make sense, if someone sees her take off the clothes, then they will have memories of what happened before the time warp, like from then on. This does not make any sense at all because most of the time she does this in public as like a straight up almost exhibitionist thing. So another way to put the also it's important to note that the other protagonist in the show, the male lead, is forced into a non-consensual relationship with her because he sees her taking off her bra, I believe it was, in the gym storage room. And from then on has memories of what's going on. So she, by way of threatening him with like blackmail that he will be arrested at her claims that he's like molested her and stuff, forces him to enter into a weird kind of BDSM relationship with her where he functions as her quote unquote closet and has the responsibility to carry around her undergarments and put them on her anytime she removes them, because if she runs out of undergarments, she can't use her special ability anymore, which there's absolutely no reason she couldn't put them back on herself other than she wants to force this guy to do it. And forces him to do it indeed in all kinds of precarious situations up to and including in the middle of class. That's pretty much the synopsis of the show.
Yep. The only thing I will say, it's not her take off her underwear. It's if you see her boobs, you get to remember her time warp.
Yeah, I guess that's the key piece there. Like, you have to actually have seen her nudity in order to trigger that effect.
There's like I had to have Yuki do the synopsis because there's no way to explain that and not sound like a crazy person. This is this. Could
somebody get to be the crazy one? One for the black guy.
Everyone knows I'm crazy. It's like I had to have someone who's not like start with. If I only open with that, nobody would believe me.
I see. It's a matter of credibility.
Yeah, it's this because Japan, Kiro. That's why. This is such a weird. This is somebody's A3's original story that somehow got made into a fucking anime. I don't know how.
Yeah, this is very much the author's not even disguised fetish.
Just, we might use that term going forward, Rao, from now on for these shows, because we run into like one a season. Okay, so we have nope, no, Compass, you're not that.
Very accurate, yes.
Yes. Yes, you know what this is, episode 1. This is, where do I put this on the episode 1, Yuki? I don't know.
Well, it's definitely above Dark Elf. But is it above anything else? I mean, I would actually put it above the End of the World thing in terms of like animation quality and stuff, but like, well, even then that's hard to say because the characters feel off model a lot of the time, and I have a real problem with like the closeness that the mouth has to the eyes. The placement is just off. I think that has to do with them interpreting that from the original art style, though, so I can't really blame the anime for it. It endlessly bothers me that it's both inconsistent and weird looking.
Yeah, like now that you mention that, like I do kind of feel like the girl did switch body types a couple of times in the show.
Oh, that as well, yeah. Like whatever body type fits the scene best is what she seems to have.
Yeah, so yeah, mid-episode. If you want weirdly paced porno, softcore.
If you want the only show this season with uncensored nipples, this is the one to watch.
Yeah, that's about it. So we only have one left then, Yuki.
Actually, that would be cool. I think we're at the end. Actually, which one am I missing?
To be Hero X.
Okay, to be a Hero X.
Yeah,
okay.
I somehow that slipped past me too. Is that not on the list?
Let me check.
I thought it was. It's
it might not be on the list because I think although it's on Crunchyroll, it is not it may not technically have qualified as an anime, and therefore not have made its way onto the list of anime that I derive the list from.
Yeah, that's true. It's part of the Crunchyroll simulcast, but yeah, to be Hero X and
give me a moment though. I'll pull it up anyway because we've definitely looked into it.
I'm watching it. It's so a little preamble on this one. This happens to be a Bilibili show. So this is a Chinese original animation. I don't know if it's original because this almost feels like it could be from a gacha game.
I think it feels that way because it has the kind of art style to it that is synonymous with like Arcane and like the League of Legends stuff.
Yeah,
but
there's a very, very interesting things on this show. Normally, Bilibili is a subpar,
an almost auto avoid.
And well, yeah, it's also a co-produced Aniplex show. So, but
well, let's watch the trailer.
Okay, you got it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Won't see it coming fast like lightning. Whoa. We'll save the day, they can't deny it. Higher, higher. We're about to set this game on fire, fire. Can't bring us down. We're that whole new type of hero, hero. We go with what we explosions in the sky, this is the time. We're that whole new type of hero, hero.
ここは人々の信念によってヒーローが形作られる世界。最も多くの信頼を獲得したヒーローは X の称号を得る。
この世界は英雄を必要としている。誰しもがヒーローになれる可能性を秘めていて、誰しもが彼である可能性を持っている。ヒーロー X!
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I had made sure Yuki looked into this one. I swear to God, I think Arcade pissed some animators off in Japan and China. That or our Bilibili did some of the support animation for Arcane and is now using that style, which I'm totally cool with that. I like more shows that look like this, please. Yes.
Or maybe they just hired the studio. I don't know. But yeah, for sure, the main 3D CGI style in the show is very, very reminiscent of that. It's at the very least probably using very similar tech. The show does, interestingly, though, as we saw in the preview, blend and switch between a couple of different animation styles. My favorite of which, it has this kind of like comic book filter on it, and I could have personally done with that being the only animation style for the show, and I feel like it would have looked nicer for it, but that's just me personally. All the animation styles are at least serviceable. If you liked Arcane, you'll like the animation style that is the primary. I'll let you put in some thoughts before I get back into the rest of it.
No, even somebody who doesn't appreciate or isn't able to tell good animation 90% of the time, this stood out with such a distinct style. I immediately, after watching episode 1, was like, Yuki, watch this. Tell me, like, what's the animation like on this? I need to know from somebody who can tell. On top of getting good animation, they do a lot of really interesting concepts for the story. A little piece of me kind of wonders how China's letting this be made like it is, because this seems to be poking fun at their social credit system a little bit.
Yeah, and they're not famous for being very cool with that kind of thing.
So much I
I will throw a few key points out there for the plot of this show. Murder,
unaliving oneself,
finding a corpse in your bed, assuming another person's identity, and then obviously the like hero aspects, people falling and becoming villains. There's a lot going on in this show.
The biggest premise with the show is that there are heroes and there are villains. Heroes can derive their power from the belief people have in them, and villains derive their power from the fear they generate. So playing that into a world system, and especially in our current social media landscape of the world, and making an entire premise around that, I would say episode 1 or 2 episodes on this one.
Oh, you gotta go at least 2 episodes on this one, I think. You get a good sense for the animation and stuff in episode 1, but you don't really know where the actual plot's going until episode 2, I feel like.
Yep, I could almost see a 3. I'm not going to put this in a must watch, honestly, because it's Billy that's really giving me that drag down on that one. That studio has so much negativity next to it that I really do have a hard time giving them higher than giving them any kind of, oh yeah, no, go ahead, try it, do it.
Yeah, I'm very much on my guard, if not actively biased against them after the dreck that they have produced in the past.
Yeah. Anything else you would want to follow up with To Be Hero X?
No, I think that's pretty good for this stage. I'm sure we'll have more to say about it in the post-season wrap-up.
Yep. Also, a point I do got to give them. I think the trailer was completely original animation.
Either that, or it's referencing stuff from like later in the series that we haven't gotten to yet. I'm not sure.
Maybe it's like character flashback or something. But if not, that was one hell of an original animation for a freaking trailer.
Indeed.
Credit is due, but with this, I think we have our final rankings on what all the new stuff. Nothing gets skipped this season. This has been plenty of mediocre, a lot of good mid-rank stuff.
I would say the overall quality of this season is definitely higher than last season.
Definitely.
We've got more shows
higher
towards the top end and not nearly as many shows that are way, way down on the bottom end.
Yep. But with this, we will have these posts up in our respective Discords, as well as the ones we tend to lurk around in, as well as our social media, which you can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky, as well as you can find Yuki on... Where can they find you, Yuki?
Mostly just on Blue Sky these days.
Yep. Which I believe links have been posted several times. I need to get a command ready for post mine again when I head out, but I think that's a good place to call it for tonight. I do have a couple.
Yeah, my bot would probably ban you for putting in the links anyway.
Yeah, you can't ban me, bro. I'm a mod.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out for future sessions.
Yep. All right. Do you have anyone you'd like to write out to, or can?
Let me take a look real quick.
I good to direct this.
Let's see who we've got available on my side.
Because I do have a couple people.
Well, if we wanted to do Luis, they're streaming. I'm not sure if they hang out in your chat a lot as well.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, if you've got someone that you want to have us read out to, then we can.
No, you're good. Just send me the name real quick, would you?
Sure, will do.
And we will see you guys at a later date. We should be back next week with Rogue Trader, barring any other catastrophic events from either of our lives, which I have had quite enough of in the last month.
Next time on Catastrophes of Our Lives.
It's it's been a lot. I know a couple of you guys are all also been having a hard time. I know the world's a little hard, but we're all here. We're all living. We haven't fallen. All right, yeah, that's the fallen out yet.
We will fight to the last.
Yep. But you will see me. My next stream should be Thursday with Pikmin Thursday with Pix and Pikmin. At my earliest, we might try to finish up Advanced Wars on Tactical Tuesday. Yuki, where could they find you next?
I will probably be back tomorrow. Most likely continuing with more StarCraft, but I may switch over to something else. We will see.
All right, everybody. It's going to be Agent Q signing off.
Bye-bye, everybody. Matinin!